Hi, friends. Welcome back to another Sequester Mini. We are going to go through last night's Patron Mini, which was a really good one. It was going to be hard to live up to the night before, which, as we all said, was probably one of the best ever, if not the best. But the newbies really brought it. It was pretty good, and it just kind of got better as we went on. So I feel like we have a lot to talk about. We have a pretty stacked cast. I think we have almost everyone who's actually going to be here today, which should be really good. Let's bring everybody in one by one. The first group, we have KP, Renzo, Rachel, Amanda, Donovan, Humby, Pyam, Sarah, and Kayla, our winner. Welcome. First off, congratulations, Kayla, on the big win.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Those LOSs, man. They work. They work. So I guess let's start off in terms of, first thoughts in terms of, going in and seeing the videos. Did any of you have a strategy right off the bat that you wanted to, enact, or what were your thoughts as you were getting in there? We had a pretty good mix of like vets and new people, but I think the new people did not know who the vets were, which was an interesting dynamic we don't typically see. But what were you all thinking getting into the game?
All I know is I loved Donovan's video and I wanted him to stay in. And lo and behold, he was one of the people targeted in the first round.
I was a little sus of Donovan just because he had so much confidence. I didn't know that he was actually a returnee. I was just that's a little too much confidence for being a newbie. And so that's why I kind of was okay with him going.
I am curious about that, Donovan, because that was, for any of us super fans, we knew who you were. But it is your first time playing this version of Sequester. So did you have any thoughts in mind? Had you been following the way the minis work these days, and what were your thoughts going in terms of how you were going to play?
I've caught a couple of the minis. I've definitely watched a lot of the bigger ones, like the Survivor and the Big Brother minis. But I know that Audrey's always wanted a fast-paced game. Even when I played in Sequester 1.0 5 years ago, it was still a fast-paced game, but we had a full week to actually strategize. I wasn't prepared for how quickly the minis go, because it's I'm used to taking a little bit of time to socialize and get to know people, and this was immediately, who do you want out? What's the name? And I was oh my God, I feel like I need to check into a nursing home because I'm so out of practice. It's been 4 years since I played in any official capacity, so...
I probably was one of the most shocked when I saw the cast, because I had a lot of connections that I did not know was happening. When I saw PM, I was just oh no. I tried to really hide my emotions, because I know that if people knew that we both played together in the international, they would target us. Also with Chris and Christian, I played with them in the POC minis. I'm oh no, no again. And Ashley and I were kind of friends outside the game, and Humby and I were connected in another chat. So these are all people connected, and I played in the POC mini before. I know that pre-existing relationships can also work against you. So all of the strategies I had going into the game, I just put it in the trash, and then I had to feel the people, feel the vibes of the room, and just make sure to read people very carefully at the beginning, not to put myself as a big threat. Because if somebody just points out that I am connected with this person, with this person, with this person, I would be a big target right off the bat.
Yeah, my point of view, I'm always writing for newbies. I wanted for the newbies to stay, and then I get in on the first person I see is Renzo. I'm fuck, okay. And to think about this, because we are in a group chat together, I don't think we have interact much, but it's a name I recognize. I was oh, he's so cute, and he's so lively. I was okay. So I guess I cannot say that I know he played before. So that strategy is out of the window. I also want to say that I have watched also 8 or 9 minis, and I never understand when people say, oh, but they were in my starting room. I was oh, that's stupid. And now I spend 1 hour with like these 3 people, and I'm like, they're with me forever. Don't touch them. Because it's like I'm not a quiet person. Like these 3 people can tell you I was moving. I don't know what to do with myself when I don't have like my phone or a book or something. So I was just looking at their faces and seeing them reacting just the way I move. Like it gives you vibes. So I get that.
It is interesting, like, go with your starting room or not. I mean, we've seen so many victories come from people just sticking with their starting room. And I've never taken it as something that you have to do, but there's been so much success in it that you constantly see like 2 or 3 members of a Final Four from a starting room, because it's really the only alliance that you can really lock down within the game, because it's so hard to make bonds otherwise unless you know somebody previously, in that short span of time. PM, what were you thinking when you saw Renzo? Because I think everybody who was watching last night on the stream, our jaws kind of dropped when we saw both of you like right above each other. So what was your thinking?
First of all, Louie, from this point forward, address me as Payam, because that's my name now. Secondly, I love Renzo. I obviously birthed his career in international Sequester, and I fucking love him, and I was so excited to see him play, and I was so happy I couldn't hide my emotions. But the videos were great, and I couldn't remember much. It was very early in the morning. I wake up at 5 a.m., got set up at 6, and played at 7 a.m. So everything is kind of a blur, but yeah. It was a great diversity in terms of the casting too. There were a lot of people from different backgrounds, which I really appreciate.
Yeah, I don't know about you, PM, but when I saw you, my nose...
Payam.
Sorry. I don't know about you, Payam, but when I saw you, my notes were all just a mess. I wasn't able to jot down notes anymore. It's like, what is happening? I was just shaking, and then more... and I tried to really hide it. I don't want Humby to know, or I don't want even Kayla and Amanda to know that PM and I are close friends outside the game. So yeah, but it still showed.
Renzo, you were low-key sneaky, because I didn't know any of these things about you. And then in the end, it came out, and I was like, I got to respect that. But I'm glad we were able to stick together most of the game.
So sneaky.
Yeah, I didn't know
I'm so happy
either.
about it.
I also had the only connection I had prior was Lewis. I didn't know he was playing. And then I saw his video. He was like one of the last ones, and my eyes widened. And I knew, I was like, okay, I can't say anything about this. And then we didn't even like get in like many rooms together. So like I was gonna assume that people were gonna be sus, like, oh, why are you like, so strongly about not getting Lewis out? And I was like kind of nervous, so I was like, maybe we can't get Lewis out, maybe we can't. I don't know. And
I was just so shocked with Renzo because I'm kind of new to the Sequester community. I've been watching, but didn't interact much. I'm very big on RHAP. I interact a lot over there, so it's difficult to like maneuver through communities. So I thought that just like Kayla, that seemed that she was new, I thought, okay, Renzo, Kayla, and I only have each other. Like, we have to fight for each other. And then this bitch knows half the cast? Like, what the fuck, man?
Rachel, I want to come to you here, because obviously you are a proud member of what I coined a few weeks ago, Alpha Gamma Sequester, where we have Katie, we have Nikki, and now we have you.
Yes.
What was your preparation work? Because I know you're fairly new to Sequester as well. How did they prep you before you went into your first game?
They tried to give me tips and tricks. I watched a couple. I watched Nikki's game. I watched Katie's old one. I don't know. They told me to just kind of move around in the rooms a bunch and meet everybody as soon as possible. And that was really what I tried to do. But I guess didn't make it as far as our Queen Katie.
I mean, it's hard to do. Not many people
have.
All right, so let's get into the first round. After we got to the videos, we ended up, this was the round where KP went out after a successful LOS by Donovan. Let's talk a little bit about how we got here. Who were the initial targets? Why KP and Donovan were the ones right off the bat that everybody was going for? What was your thinking there?
So I mean, I had heard that there is a crowd against targeting boring videos, and Donovan had the opposite of a boring video. And I've kind of done a 180 on this since kind of hearing both sides. So, but I threw Donovan's name out, and someone else in my room knew he had played before. So once he confirmed that, then Donovan's name caught on, and then I think my name, if it wasn't already coming up in other rooms, targeting Donovan definitely put a target immediately on my back.
Yeah, I would say like a lot of people target initially in the video, but I think as a cast, our videos were all kind of like on the same page. I was trying to be very strategic about that because I don't want my video to shine, and I don't want my video to be boring as well. Well, I think in the POC mini when I played, I was the last video, and my video was like, oh, and I thought that really gave a big target on my back. So like with this cast, I was like, okay, we cannot really look at the video, but we can say what they said. We can like look at what they said inside the video. And I was just so shocked. Everybody was like throwing out names right away. I was like, is this really a newbie cast? Because it's like they really started throwing out names. Kayla said 3 names, right?
Yes, Kayla, come on, get the mic off and start talking because it was all you, honey.
Really iconic.
I was just paying attention to the videos and thinking based off first impressions as much as you can make them who I wouldn't feel like I could trust. So I just threw out 3 names right away because I wanted to just have a name to run with and then bounce around as much as possible because I had no idea how long the first round was going to last.
Who are your 3 names, Kayla?
Oh my gosh.
Donovan.
Right now, you can go right now.
and Goldie. I have it.
Wait, I need to say something about that.
It was Donovan. Oh, go ahead.
It's taken me until like an hour ago to figure out why my name was thrown out right away because I was like, my video was so normal. And I realized after I filmed the video, I was like, oh, I said sequestered instead of sequestered. But I'll leave it in because it makes it seem like I'm like not a threat, right? Like I'm not playing, like I'm like whatever. And then that's why you threw my name out. Like what the hell?
You just have to pick small things when you don't know people. So I was just holding on to really small reasons why because I don't know anybody. So
yeah, totally. That's what
the 3 names are Donovan, Goldie, and Sarah.
Yeah, I didn't want a woman out, so I was like, okay, we could go Donovan.
I changed my mind about Donovan after I got a chance to talk to him though. So I was sad when you ended up leaving.
Yeah, I did not want Donovan to go as well because I know that he's a big name. But so I was just trying to figure out, and it's only just Donovan and KP like gaining a lot of traction. So at that point in time, my end, I really thought that the cast was genuinely nice. So I think in this cast, like at the beginning, I realized that I have to make a perception that I'm a loyal person to everybody, so that people would want to work with me moving forward. So, yeah, I was like, yes. And
I do want to give props to KP though, because at one point the things shifted and he was a target and he moved around every single room and he's very agreeable to talk to. He has a very nice voice and he turned me. I was gonna vote for him, and then I went back to Donovan because of the way he was like working the room. So props to that.
Thank you. From the 5 seconds we had together, I got such a great vibe from you as well and was rooting for you. And, it was an honor to be a part of such a great cast. And, Kayla put on a master class and showed that, you can win this game as a newbie. And, I've got some regrets, but, I'll learn from them.
Big difference of KP and Donovan though. KP was really jumping from one room to another. I think I saw him in 3 different rooms. I never saw Donovan in the beginning.
The legendary game on Friday night was definitely in my head. I think it was for a lot of us. I wanted to come out swinging. I didn't, I wanted to, go down making a move rather than, go down for not doing anything. And making a move can backfire, and it's, part of the early game. It can work out that way.
Yeah, I told Donovan that his name was being thrown out. I think I was the first one who did that.
Several people actually did come to me. Like Rachel was one of them. Ashley was one of them. Several people were telling me my name was Amanda also, I think, told me to at one point. And Ryan was kind enough to tell me that Jason had thrown my name out. So I was just like, hey, Jason, what's up? What's the deal with that? But honestly, I think I don't get really why I was such a target initially. For the few people who may have known me from previous Sequester, like, this is so different. This is like asking like Albert Einstein to win a water skiing contest. Like, it's not the same thing. So, but yeah, I found it really fun to play the meat shield for once. That's never really been my dynamic as a player. I've always been very behind the meat shield. So that was fun. I anamorphed into Kim Matina for one night, and it was really cool. So
The dream to morph into Kim Matina. One can only...
Who would not want to be Kim Matina? I mean, come on.
Every day. Yeah, I mean, that was the thing. I feel like there was, you know, of the cast, I think only one person pegged you as a former player. Like, I feel like you would have, you know, but also I feel like your video, it was a good video. Like, it was, I would say of all the videos, it was an entertaining video. But because of that, I feel like you're looking for any reason just to jump onto someone. So
I found that to be an interesting reason to go for, because like, aren't we all here for fun and entertainment? Don't we want to like have a fun night with fun people? So like, I found it weird to be targeted just for being entertaining, but I'll take it. I mean, that's fine.
That was exactly why I was like, the only person I won't vote for first round is Donovan, because I feel like he'll put up a fun game.
It would have been fun to keep playing longer, but I love the way I went out. I love that no one could actually get me out. Only the game got me out. So that was really cool to me.
I can say I didn't target you at first because I thought you were entertaining, is because I thought that you looked a little bit too unpredictable. And I was scared of like how you could convince, like I could tell you were a convincer, like you could sweet talk people. So that worried me.
Well, I like your intuition, and you were spot on. So,
and then once you found the LOS, that confirmed to everybody that you were a huge threat. And then, you know,
can I just tell you guys how much fun I was having, like, as the review? Because me and KP were in the same room, and I was just like, "Oh my god, an LOS was played? Who could have done that?"
The only one I didn't get.
Oh, really? Did you get like all the rest of them for real?
3, yeah, I'm pretty sure that was.
Kayla, how do you do that?
I'm not giving away my secrets. I'm sorry.
Oh my
Y'all got to learn on your own.
good.
You're so much harder than I expected.
I had one as well.
What's up?
I think the only one I
I had the one. Yeah, I never played it.
The only one I saw throughout the entire game is when it filled up the entire screen with that giant green dot, and the other ones I didn't even see.
it is. There is an art form to it, aside from just really fast internet, which is probably the most important thing of them all. But
yeah, everyone was coming for me for my internet, and I'm like, I don't know anything about internet, so I can't say if I've got fast internet or not.
Pre-typed, I assume, Kayla? Pre-typed LOS? You had it ready to go in Skype?
Who knows?
Who knows? The world will never know.
Can I just give like a shout out to like the math problems? It really saved my game at the beginning.
Yes.
I was math growing up, so I was like, I got this.
I was actually trying to figure out my notes here, and at the top of round 1, I just had 6x6, and I was like, "What does that mean?" But that's what it meant. Yeah, there was a math problem to start the game.
I thought it was going to be more complicated, so I wrote down 6 times 6, and then I was like, "Wait, I can do this in my head. I just need to message her right away."
Yeah, I did the same. I thought it was going to be like algebra. And so I had my calculator out, and then she said, "Oh, what's 6 times 6?" And I was like, "Shit, I need to pull up Skype."
I wish it was algebra. I would have crushed all of you. It was fucking algebra.
Much.
Oh my god.
I was so embarrassed. I'm an engineer, and I'm a master's in engineering. I do like 10 calculus, have a minus in mathematics. So when she said 6 by 6, I was like, okay, keep going. And she didn't keep going. And I was like, okay, I'm screwed already. Like, it passed too much time.
Yeah, and then I feel like the math problems like ended up having such a big impact on like the next 4 rounds or whatever, because your names for 2 rounds after the math problem, your name isn't in anyone's mouth. So it's like it totally like changed the image of people that were saved by that.
Yeah. It gets you off the radar for a while, and then when other names have been out there for a while, those are the ones that you keep going with. I feel like that's why I wasn't talked about until the later half of the game.
Yeah. Because I think the only 3 players who got it for both math problems were me, Kayla, and Ryan. And Ryan and I's name, right after we lost the safety, were just being thrown around because it can bite you in the back as well. I think people recognized at that time that it would be good for us to be like thrown around. And I don't know. I targeted him. He targeted me, I think. We can talk about that later.
So that did lead to the elimination of KP. KP, I want to get your feelings on that kind of, you know, we talked about it a little bit, and the fact that those early rounds are so random and they're so hard to predict. And once your name's out there, it's hard to avoid it. But is there anything you wish you did differently?
Oh, there are several things. I mean, the fact that I wasn't voted out and that it was due to an LOS getting played by a legend, you know, that helps soften the sting a little bit. And this cast has been totally supportive and the community's been supportive. But yeah, I mean, I mentioned boot odor in my video, which I didn't realize was a no-no. I should have just kept my mouth shut in the first round, probably. I totally regret starting. I think I started the Pyam train, which, you know, is, and that, you know, add that to the list as well. But
I mean, it'll live in infamy forever now. I mean, he's going to get Pyam now from here on out.
Channeling my inner Michelle Fitzgerald. So I got to live out a dream in that sense, I guess. But yeah, I mean, they're things you learn from. And, you know, should I be so lucky to ever play again? You know, I'll take those lessons to heart. So
we take it you will throw your hat in the ring again at some point?
Absolutely. I'll be cheering on this cast. I'm sure we're going to get a lot of returnees from this amazing cast. But I'm going to keep my hat in the ring for as long as you'll have it.
Absolutely, KP. Thank you for joining us. Hope to see you again.
Thanks, guys. Congrats, Kayla.
All right, so that brings us to round 2. So KP paired up 3 teams to be tethered for elimination, and they were Donovan and Amanda, Pyam and Stan. I'm still getting used to that. Lewis and Goldie. And I thought the explanation for Donovan was interesting. I didn't love that in the fact that, you know, I never like when somebody who goes out first then targets someone who is also being targeted against them and just puts them, because it's always such an easy way to eliminate someone. But in this case, Donovan, you did manage to avoid it. It ended up being Pyam and Stan. So how did we get there? How did we come to that decision?
I honestly don't know why people decided to keep me and Amanda. I know Amanda was pissed to be stuck with me because she was like, well, fuck me. Like, I'm out now, I guess. Oh, are we allowed to curse? I just realized. Oh, okay.
Curse away. Curse all you want.
Oh, perfect. So yeah, I knew Amanda didn't want to be stuck with me. So I was hoping we could just work together that round to get any of the other 2 pairs. I didn't really care at that point who we went after. I just wanted to stay. So
yeah, my rationale was, well, I heard that Pyam and Stan were coming for Donovan and I. And so I was like, in my notes, I wrote that Stan knows the game because he mentioned, like, you know, knowing the game and stuff like that. And I was saying, like, you can get Donovan out next round. Like, he got lucky with the LOS. Like, we already had the majority of votes against him. Like, don't get me out just because you want Donovan out. And then he got out by a wheel. So, like, if we got out, then who knows who would have, you know, gotten robbed by the wheel. But that was my rationale, and I honestly don't know how it worked, but I'm glad it worked.
No, I think that made a lot of sense. Like Donovan, what you were saying about like playing the meat shield. I think that was, at least for me, that like totally convinced me to not vote for you guys that round, because like once again you were this huge target, so like what's the point of just making the easy vote right then? Also, like there's no reason to get rid of Amanda at that point, like just because you had homework to do. So
yeah, for me, Donovan and Pyam were like both big names. I wanted them so bad, but I don't want people to think or get the perception that I'm close to Pyam. So I was like, why not? Let's just vote out Louie and Goldie. They're like just nothing. And then I even saw Donovan and Pyam in the same room. It's like, stop targeting each other, work together, and vote out Louie and Goldie. But it was too late. It did not gain traction at all. And yeah.
I was shocked, I have to say. Being tethered because I was basically cast on the wrong cast was sad. Was just sad. But yeah, and I mean, I've rewatched the whole entire thing. I don't think there could have been anything more I could have fucking done in that situation. I was so, and the reason, and Kayla, you thought I lied, that I never played before. Well, the instruction videos had my fucking face on it. It was right in the middle with my name underneath. I couldn't lie that I've never played before.
That was my misunderstanding because, like I've talked about and other people have said, I just joined the community and I thought that everyone that was playing had never played before. So that's why I assumed if someone, you know what I'm saying? I literally thought that no one had ever shown their face before. So that was just me being naive to Sequester.
I'm not. I'm just. It's hilarious because I've played this. Whoever did the spreadsheet is trying to target me again because my name is on top of that list of how many times I've played Patreon minis. This is like 4th time. So, and it's on top of the list of like the names that I've played. And I'm like, well, that's like, will put a bigger target on my back because last time I played a Patreon mini, I was targeted because I've played before. So, and I was also 2nd booth as well. So this is giving me PTSD even more. But yeah, I tried my best to target Donovan because I figured if someone had written his name down, like the majority of the cast have written his name down, they would have no problem writing his name down again, right? Well, I was wrong. I was fucking wrong.
But can I just say, like the video at the beginning, it has my and Payam's face, and the arrow is actually even pointing to my face. It's like, good job, Renzo. It's like, oh, I was like, I hope nobody noticed it, but at that point, anyways, going back to this, I really believe though, Payam and Donovan, if you both push for Louie and Goldie, you could have had it. And if we did it earlier, no.
It was really hard because the way that I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt anybody. The way the pairs were tethered, Payam, Goldie, Trav, and me were all in the starting room together. So either way it cut, one of our starting room people was going to be eliminated. So I think we were just trying to preserve ourselves at that point. It didn't really matter which pair went because we were going to be crippled by that either way. So
yeah, I was not going to vote out. Oh, sorry. Do you want to go?
No, please go ahead.
I was not going to vote out Louis. I already knew him. And my friend was like, oh, you have to, like, you know, keep your closest allies, like, with you to the end. And so I was not going to vote out Louis. I mean, when I think I was in a room with Stan, and he was like, oh, we should, like, you know, put it on Louis and Goldie. And I was like, yeah, sure, yeah, we'll do that. And it was literally just us. It was so awkward. And I was like, yeah, sure, we can do that. But, like, I wasn't going to do that. Like, I could not do that. That would have just screwed me over even more. So
no, that wasn't gonna happen.
I feel bad for Stan. I really feel like I have to say, like, I was pissed when I got voted out. It was embarrassing because it was so early. My family left for a family trip. I called them for them to circle around to pick me back up because I was eliminated so early. That was embarrassing. And but I feel bad for Stan because I feel like he fell victim to my playing again. I think it was because of me that he's gone. And I'm sad because I feel like Dr. Stan was such a nice person.
Yeah, it was interesting. I said that in round 1. I was looking at people who I thought were playing a strong game right off the start. And I thought Stan was playing really well. He was making one-on-one bonds with people, unlike the way you typically see in a first round of Sequester. He was really utilizing the fact that nobody was saying his name and bringing people in and trying to create bonds for the long game. And then boom, by round 2, he was gone. So I definitely think he had some legs under him if he could have lasted a little bit longer.
Don't feel bad. It wasn't your fault. Here's the deal, what I think happened. Louis and Goldie were never going to get out because I need to get to know Louis because he must be amazing because so many people wanted to protect him at the beginning. That name was never going to go out on the second round. People love Louis. And then Donovan was such a big target and people are scared at the beginning and they wanted to keep him. You couldn't have done anything. I mean, as soon as people realized, okay, people like Louis and Donovan is going to be a big target, it wasn't your fault. So don't feel bad for Stan. You couldn't do anything. I don't think you could have done anything.
But in all honesty, Payam is a bigger target than Donovan. Payam has reached in his first 2 minis very far in the game. So he's really a great game player, and I just cannot reveal those information because it would put the target on my back. And I was hoping somebody can say that, but it did not. Yeah. I really thought that Payam was a bigger target though than Donovan.
Yeah.
And I would say it's also very sad, like because of the man-to-man pairing versus man-to-woman pairing. I think that played a big consideration on how the votes went this round.
Yeah, I mean, let's touch on that a little bit too, because I feel like, you know, the meta in Sequester is obviously to target the men first, just because there is always such a gender gap and there are such fewer females playing. Last night, we almost had an even amount. Like by the end of this round, the women were up. So it'll be curious to see now that we're only having, at least for the month of July, one patron mini per week. The sexes should be even most of the time, I would imagine. So it'll be interesting to see if that kind of keeps creeping in as a reason to vote someone out first, or if it kind of switches the dynamic.
I do want to comment on that because I'm one of the people that is always, yeah, minorities, yeah, woman. And I think it does play a factor, but not so much as I thought. Like it plays a factor on the first couple of rounds, but after like round 3 or 4, you forget about that because it's already more stuff happening. And as much as I wanted to like, yeah, people of color, woman, let's kick this ass. I at that point, my game was more important. I feel so bad to say, but it was more important. So that went out of the window.
I feel like for the beginning of the game, like that'll always be a factor, at least in my opinion, because you're like grasping at a reason to vote for someone. So like personally, like anytime I was in a room with just a girl, I was like, hey, like I have your back, just because you just automatically like have that connection with someone. And also I think it was kind of a way that I was noticing like sexism kind of like playing in our favor, which happens like all the time on these things. Like our video, like the female videos, like never, it just didn't feel like we were like big personalities or as big, at least in general, than the guys, which is definitely not true at all. But that was just like the way that I think it came off to a lot of people. Like I couldn't think of a girl that I was like, this person is maybe a threat, just because of the way that they're interpreted.
Yeah, I just want to say, and this is what was being mentioned last time I got out. If you keep targeting vets in a Patreon mini, be careful, because next time you play, you will be a vet and you will get eaten alive just like I did. And that's what happened to a lot of people who played with me on that time when I got out because of that. And yes, it's a reason to vote someone out. I don't mind that. That's just the structure of the game. You find any reason to vote someone out. But be careful, because future from now on, there's a storm coming. Oh shit. One day from now on, you will be a vet and you will be targeted, definitely because of a vet, if this trend doesn't stop.
Do you think that it would help, like for people wanting to play again, do you think it would help us or hurt us to be transparent about that? Like, at least for me, like I could potentially say, you know, I got wheeled out really early, but I had like played once before, so that there's not like sort of whisperings, maybe this person is a vet. Or do you think that just automatically is gonna hurt you? I
feel like I couldn't lie. Like in terms of like, if I said to like in front of like Renzo that I've not played before, he would clock on that. Like if I said to Christian I've not played before, he would clock on that immediately. Like I feel like if you can, like if your first appearance can be boring enough that you can hide, that's the case. I think with some people that it works because like there's so many people in a mini, but with someone like me, I feel like I stood out any way, shape, or form. There's no way people are not going to remember me. I'm way too different than like people playing. My name, who I am, it's just different. And there's no way of hiding for me. I have to be transparent about it.
I don't know if there's any advantage to kind of coming out forward and being like, yeah, I played again. I think you're definitely like, there's, the super fans in the community are going to know that, at least some of them are, but if they don't, like, that's kind of on them. And especially in these kind of games where you're looking for any kind of reason to target anyone, I don't really see how like saying like outright, like, oh yeah, I played again. You don't remember, this is what happened. I don't know how that's advantageous.
I mean, I mean, KP asked me if I've played before. Like,
Yeah.
If he hadn't asked me, I wouldn't have said anything.
I mean,
Like,
I know you played before because I saw you in the commentary sections of other minis. I've never seen you physically play, but I knew that like you were a big name in the community. But I haven't seen any of your games.
I think in a game where anyone's looking for any tiny little reason to get you out or to target someone, I think it's always going to be a disadvantage to admit that you're a vet.
Well, but I have to. I can't lie. Like, I mean,
No, yeah,
people will call on
I
that,
agree.
definitely.
Yeah.
I think we should stop targeting the vets.
You can always wear a beard,
There you go.
Yeah, I can be Payam. I think people
Or
would just forget
go by your
about that.
last name or something instead.
Just go by John. No one will know.
Or Alex, you might win.
Yes, I think I'm gonna go change my name to Alex now.
Yeah. What do you, Payam? What do you think in terms of? Because I was surprised to see you because I thought, I still think you have a shot at like an all-star spot. So, I mean, do you think that did that sway you any from thinking about playing, or were you still 100% you wanted to play a patron mini regardless of all stars?
Here's the deal with me. I host international minis, and the last one I really took a lot of work preparing it, and I didn't apply for any Patreon mini until like this one. Like, I haven't applied since like the last time I played. So when this like I saw on the Patreon, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna apply, and I'm gonna go. I went to the temple. I pray for a spot. I have to admit it. I pray for a spot on Heroes versus Villains. I'm like, let's just put me on there. And then Heroes versus Villains did not happen. And then Buddhist God decided to put me on the next one. I'm like, here's your wish. And so I'm here. But yeah, I have to say, I'm not going to be playing in a normal Patreon mini again. I've played 4 times in a normal Patreon mini, and I've been targeted twice now, and for being a vet, and I'm done. Like, I'm the next time you see me in like a weekend, a Patreon mini, it would have to be like an all-star format, because otherwise I have no chance of winning.
I think there's good odds of that happening.
I hope so. Thank you.
Fingers crossed. Payam, we'd love to see any final thoughts before you go.
My final thoughts is, in case y'all are wondering about my history of Sequester, I have my profile of my placement and dates on Twitter on my bio so that you all know. So I played on the 27th of March. I got 5th. I played 28th of March. I got 7th. I played 5th. I played 22nd of May. I got 21st. And then I played International Mini. I got 8th. And then this one, I got 21st again. So I have also coming up International Sequester Mini, the Amazing Race. It's Amazing Race themed one. Be very exciting. Renzo played in the first one. Y'all, please, if you haven't checked it out, please check on the replays. And yes, if anyone is more confused about how to pronounce my name, it's PM like opium. It's PM like opium. That's the best way to know my name. Thank you.
Thanks, PM. Thanks for coming on. Talk to you soon. All right, so let's go on to round 3, which unfortunately, Donovan, was not much of a round. We got to room roulette and the room 5 curse. There is a room 5 curse. I don't know if you know about that, but if you're in room 5, it's always trouble. It's struck again.
I've never heard of that.
Yeah, it's a thing. So it struck again. I guess, I mean, we're only going to come to you for this because there's no real reason. I mean, what was your thought? Like, how did you get stuck in a room alone? Like, tell me a little bit about the process of how the round started and how you ended up by yourself.
It was interesting because I was trying to get into any room at this point, and I checked like maybe room 1, 2, 3, and they all had 5 people, and the room limit was 5 at this point. So I literally just kept trying to find any room with empty spots, and I happened to find room 5, I immediately muted and just said "fuck" out loud to myself because I had this gut feeling that would happen, and because it just been such an unlucky game so far for me that I was like, this would be like the perfect way to end that. So I feel bad for the mod. I think it was Jatia at the point in room 5. So I was like taking off my shirt and showing my nipples to everyone because I was drunk and I didn't have anything else to do. So.
We thought you were trying to seduce the wheel to try to convince it to not boot you.
I think the wheel swiped right on Tinder, or no, left on Tinder for me.
I need to check the footage.
You should. I mean, because like it was right up until I got eliminated, and then the nipples came out, and then I was like, "Well, that was fun. See you guys later."
I just remember though, Donovan, when we were finding rooms, we were actually like had a good 20-second talk together, and I think that was like a bad move for the both of us because we're like, oh no, we're spending too much time talking, and then nobody's coming in this room. So and then I left, which was great for me, but not great for you.
I'd like to pause for a second just to bring Lauren in because I can't just bring her in like I would bring in normal people because we must acknowledge the greatness that is this mask and how I couldn't sleep last night because it haunted my dreams. Phenomenal. But yeah,
Gremlin? I couldn't remember.
Lauren, do you wear that like when you're going to the grocery store and stuff?
Yeah, we're supposed to wear masks right now, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, you do what you got to do, right? Stay safe out there.
I have to make a point. How can anyone say I had the best video last night when we saw Lauren's masterful performance in her video? I mean, I was blown away by her video.
You are too kind. Donovan, I literally was never in a room with you. It's very nice to meet you.
I never saw you, so it's very nice to meet you.
Sorry, I'll let you guys continue.
Yeah, so what were you thinking, Donovan?
About what?
Just in general, I mean, overall, the game as a whole, I mean, you know, it got unlucky. It was the first of 2 wheel outs on the night. The wheel was not very friendly, but what was I mean, did you enjoy it overall? How would you compare it to your first go around? And, you know, you think you could get used to this version?
Honestly, I played and seen almost every iteration of Sequester over the years. I've played in live action versions at Sequester meetups. I've played the original online when Google Hangouts was a thing version. So this was the one that caused me the most anxiety though, because whenever I play Sequester, my whole strategy is make deep personal connections with the people. And in this game, people were shifting around like that fucking scene in Cabin in the Woods. We're all a monster. Like I was like just standing there, like watching all these people move around, and everyone was like, "He's not moving enough." So I didn't know what I was doing in this instance of Sequester because it was so new and so fast, and I'm just used to taking my time a little more. So I definitely prefer the older version as far as playing it, but watching it was really exciting. So
yeah, I always say that we talked about it even the night before about, you know, live players and also players from the early iteration being targeted just because they've played before like everyone else. But I feel like in this case, I don't feel like the early iteration have played before because it's such a different game. You might as well be brand new to the game because you really have no idea. You're as fresh to it as anybody else would be as a first timer.
I would absolutely agree with that because even though like I've been involved in this for so long, I haven't been keeping up with as much of the minis as probably everyone else in this room has. So I was probably honestly the biggest noob in the whole fucking game. I was playing catch up the whole night that I was there. So,
well, we loved seeing you. It was a nice surprise when you came on the screen. Do you think you'll try it again?
I'm forever grateful for any opportunity Audrey gives me to play, so I would absolutely be down to try again and maybe survive more than 3 rounds. Before I go, I do want to do a quick shameless plug because I just started a new podcast. It's a very new podcast and it's in no way competing with what you're doing here because what I'm doing is putting Sequester in a time capsule and going back and reviewing every season of the online installments and the live action series. If you have any questions about that, go to Rob Goddess at Spotify or Apple Podcasts.
Yeah, highly recommend. I listened to the first installment of the one with Kim Mattina, and it was absolutely great. So any Sequester fan should absolutely check that out. Thanks for coming on, Donovan. We appreciate it.
Thanks. It was nice to meet everyone, by the way. Have a great interview.
Bye. All right, so that brings us to round 4. I do want to touch on something first and just go around and kind of touch on the mods, because I feel like the mods were great last night. Like, we had Jatia, which was a very big surprise, and it's always great when, you know, we have a Survivor or Big Brother alum actually come back and stay in the community and mod. And also we had Joe the Show in room 2, which I'm going to go out and say it, and I love Joe. We're buddies, but like, he is one of the best mods ever, just because he sticks to his shtick so well. And like, he really believes that you need to get out of the room when there's a room limit. He feels it so passionately that someone needs to go. Any reactions last night to the mods or what happened there?
I mean, I love. Go ahead, Kayla.
I just thought it was funny how we all just kind of made it a thing to do nose goes, but we didn't follow the actual rules. We're like, we're going to touch our nose, but we're not actually going to make the last person that did it leave. And then they're like, I don't care what about your nose. And I just thought it was really funny.
There were
that was the
times,
best. It, like, someone started it and everyone went with it.
Yeah.
By the end.
Mm-hmm.
There were several times where they were like, room limit. And I was like, I was in here, like, I said I was going to stay. And then I would just leave anyway because I'd get so nervous. I'd be like, I guess someone's got to go. I guess I'll just do it. But
I really loved Joe on room 2. I clocked that he was so good at it because I felt safe. I felt that as soon as somebody was going to come in that I didn't see, he was going to call it out right away. So I tried to stay to that room as much as possible because I wasn't going to get caught by surprise by somebody staying on the background and listening to what I was saying.
There was one point in room 2 where I lost nose goes, and then Joe the Show was like, I don't care about your nose, like, and so I was like, you don't have to, that doesn't mean anything. And so I was like, do I leave or do I not leave? Like, and so yeah, he was great. He was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Joe the Show was like one of the only people that, like, one of the only mods I knew other than Jatia, because I watched a Blood vs. Water mini and I was honestly like terrified, honestly. Like, I was so intimidated, but like, I did like the shtick. It was really funny, but like, I fucking nose goes.
That's why I was curious about that, like having him as a mod if you're not familiar with the game and him, and just having some maniacs screaming at you as compared to the other mods. I imagine it's quite the experience, but it's also much like playing with Joe the Show in the game, in that you just have somebody yelling at you the whole time.
I feel like I was so into the conversations that when the mods were saying things, I don't even remember what they were saying because I was like not even paying attention to them at all.
Yeah.
Just because I was so focused on the strategy.
I say Joe, when I entered the room and I was by myself at the very beginning, Joe the Show said, oh, I recognize you. It's like, don't say that because people might come and then, oh no. Anyways, one of the biggest surprises for me, I love the game, but was finding Jatia. I really wanted to talk to her. I made it a point to find what room she was in. I made like a kind of long confessional, just like praising her and loving her. Like, I love Jatia, and I was just so starstruck to find out that she's gonna be modding.
I was so excited when I saw that she was modding, and I don't think I heard her voice like twice maybe, and I was like, Jatia! Both times. But I was like, so I was alone, and I was in room 2, and I had like I wrote I heart Jatia and like held it up. I didn't know which room she was in, and it was obviously Joe's room, and he was like, she was in 5. I should have taken a note, but and Joe was like, no notes, please, no. I'm like, just I was saying I heart Jatia, and then I think in that same time, I was like trying to read my book while I was waiting, which I guess is like a new, I don't know. I thought that people would be.
My favorite moment of the night by a mile was your interaction with Joe asking if you could read your book.
Well, Twitter seemed to think that that was a really like big thing, but weren't you guys bored during like all of the breaks? Okay, well, I have a short attention span, so I asked Joe if I could read my book, and at first he was like adamantly no. He was like, please don't. He's like, you can read your notebook. And then he came around. He checked on it for me. And you can, for future reference, you can read a book during Sequester. And it's not cheating.
I would say though, like during the breaks, take down some notes. That's the best time to really like figure out what's happening in the round. And then so that when you made the juries, if you go to top 2 as well, you have like a list of what to do, and probably the people you want to like talk to for the next round. So yes, you can read a book, but maybe not during the breaks.
I agree. I wish I took way more notes because I feel like I was talking to so many people and I kept forgetting who said what and where it went what and who did I talk to, and it was just a lot to keep up with.
Sarah, I know the answer, but care to share what book you were reading?
Okay, well, this is gonna sound like it was like closer to cheating than it actually was, but there's a book called, it really wasn't, but it's called The Stingray, and it's about the court case that was filed against CBS after the first season of Survivor aired. So, and it's like kind of biographical about Richard Hatch and about like how much the Survivor producers are allowed to interfere in the game now, and like all about the sort of legal stuff around that. So it's super interesting. Legitimately just what I'm reading right now. Like I wasn't trying to be cool.
It was on genre, though. We appreciate that. Same genre. All right, so let's get into round 4 here. This is the round that ended in Jason's elimination. So it started with Travis, Ryan, Kayla, Chris, and Renzo safe. And that was, so anyone else in this round who got a vote would be nominated for the next round. How did we get to Jason? Now, I feel like the one thing that stuck out to me in this round was actually what Ryan said. And his reasoning of trying to get rid of Jason was the fact that Jason didn't look like he was having much fun. And I was like, well, that's a really weird reason to try to boot someone. But then I went to Jason's room and I was like, oh, he doesn't look like he's having much fun. He looks extremely stressed. So Jason, elaborate on this. Were you having much fun?
Yeah, I was. I mean, I think my problem was, I mean, I'm passionate about, I love this kind of games, and obviously I wasn't doing well. So, I mean, I could understand why maybe someone would see but I mean, yes, I was having fun. I think that's kind of I don't know. I don't agree with that. I was stressed, obviously. I had a good feeling I was going home because this was the round. Obviously, I was eliminated, but I think the downfall of my game really started, truthfully, from the beginning. I don't think I played that well. And I think it really all started because, I mean, I learned a lot from the first, time I played, but I was in a starting room with KP, and really that was kind of my downfall from the beginning was, KP had said Donovan, and I was like, okay. You can even roll back the tape in my starting room. I go, well, there might be merit to saving Donovan because he's going to be such a big target that you might as well just keep him in the game. But I was like, all right, whatever, I'll push Donovan. And then it ended up being between Donovan and KP, and I was like, well, I feel like this would look super bad if I was just like, all right, yeah, I'll cut KP right away from my starting room. So that was kind of my downfall, was that I was loyal to KP. And then Ryan and other people told Donovan that I was throwing his name out there. And then he confronted me about it. And I was honest because I was like, everyone knows I was saying Donovan. If I just lie to him, all that does is expose me as a liar. So I was like hoping maybe this would actually gain me favor if I was like, yeah, you're the name out there, but that was only just because KP was in my room. Like, I'm really indifferent to it. So that kind of, and once your name's out there, it's just hard to get the target off you. I think that was like the biggest thing I learned. So I was having absolutely a blast, and I'm hoping to play again. So
I felt for you, Jason, because the chat even said it. If people were voting based upon who looks like they're having the most fun, I would be the first boot every time. Because I am so incredibly stressed and anxious every time I play.
Yeah.
I don't look like I'm having fun.
I think next time, if I ever get the chance to play again, I think I'm going to come with a sign that just says I'm having fun. And I'll just hold it up the entire game, and I'll make the face I want. But you guys will always know that I'm having the time of my life.
Get some Joker makeup.
I would say, though, that this twist is when I got out on the POC mini. And it's kind of difficult to maneuver because people are going to throw their votes. Like, even the people that you are close with, they would want to save themselves in the next round. And I really was wishing Ryan was here so that he could probably give us a better understanding of why he targeted you. Mm-hmm. But my gut feel is like, he probably felt like you were the least, you don't have like a lot of strong connections. And you're going to be like an easy name to throw out. I'm not even sure if he really voted you. I think he also threw his vote at that point. That would be my gut feel.
Yeah, I don't know how the vote shook out. When the videos played at the very beginning, I was actually really optimistic because I was like, oh, I like a lot of these people just off first impressions. I feel like there's a lot of people in this cast that I would get along with and I could work with. My problem was that for whatever reason, like the strategy just moving around rooms, I was seeing a lot of the same faces a lot, and I didn't get a chance to talk to a lot of the cast. And not only that, I was playing defensive because even though I was safe, I felt like people already knew that I was pushing Donovan just because of how the first round went. So I just felt like I was backpedaling from the very beginning of the game, and then I never really got a chance to get any momentum. I really thought once Donovan left, I was like, maybe this will be like a clean slate for me, and I'll be able, maybe someone else would become a target, and I'll be able to just fly through. But it didn't end up happening, and I'm all right with that.
Do you think there was anything you could have done different, or it was basically you were dead to rights?
Yeah, I'm sure there was a bunch of stuff I could do different, and that's something that I'll go back and try and, because I haven't rewatched it yet, but that's something I'll go back and try and figure out. I think the biggest thing is just like, I don't know if telling Donovan to his face. Well, I think one thing is that I shouldn't have said that. I forget who I told it to, but I said I wanted to get Donovan out because I already told him that he was the name I said in the first round, so he knew I was coming after him. I shouldn't have said that Donovan's coming after me. I should have said Donovan's name's out there, so I'm just going to roll with that. Because once I tell other people that someone's coming after me, then everyone else is like, well, if he's coming after you, then I'll just jump on board. So that was a mistake. I've learned from it. But other than that, I don't know if being honest to Donovan would hurt me, or if it would have been better just been like, oh, no, I didn't say anything, even though everyone knew I was saying stuff. So I'm not sure, to be honest. I think either way, I was kind of done for.
What are your thoughts on playing again? Are you going to try it again?
Oh, absolutely. Not for a little bit, though. Maybe a couple weeks. But no, I love this game, despite whether or not my face showed it or not. I love this stuff. I love this game. And I think I've got a whole lot of game left that I didn't get a chance to, you guys didn't get a chance to see. So I'm definitely itching to play again for sure.
Absolutely. Thank you for coming on, Jason. Appreciate it.
Yeah, of course. Best of luck to everyone in future minis. It was great meeting you all. It was a fun time. So thanks, guys.
All right. So the people who got a vote from the last round were nominated in this upcoming round. So up for elimination was Goldie, Sarah, Amanda, Lewis, Humby, and Rasmus. And this was the round that ended in Rasmus's elimination. There began to be rumblings here of the fact that it was all men going up to this point and trying to switch that, which didn't actually happen in this round, but it started to take effect as the rounds went on. How did we end up getting to Rasmus?
I felt like I had heard his name for a couple rounds up until that point, and I was working with him at that point, and so I didn't vote for him, and then he went out. So that just showed me that a lot of people in the game didn't want him there anymore because his name had been up for a while.
Yeah, I think what happened was in a lot of the rooms I went into, everyone was like, okay, we're voting Jason, but like, let's also put a few votes on Rasmus to get him out next. Or even like, if people didn't throw out hinky votes, like maybe even get him eliminated. And so that's what a lot of people were thinking. So I feel like his fate was already sealed from the get-go. The round before.
Yeah, Amanda's on point. Because I feel like a lot of us knew we were gonna throw out votes, so we wanted to make sure that that there was another name out there. When you said when you said Jason, people wanted to okay, but who else? But who else? And the second name was Rasmus. So when Jason left, his name was done. I don't think there's anything that Rasmus could have done by the time that he got there, because his name has been so much out on the previous round because people were protecting themselves. Also, I want to know who voted for me. Was it you, Sarah? No, I'm sorry. I thought it was you, and then I created a story in my mind, and my vendetta was against you. I'm sorry.
It's okay. It wouldn't have mattered anyway, so don't worry about it.
I wanna look into the voting chart.
And anyways, at that point, I really know that women are dominating the game, and I know that there are like big women that I can work with, who can be like great big players that I can take to the jury at that point. Because there's no way for me or like anybody in the game to make it jury if we don't have those big names. And I was like, I was in a room with like all women. I was like, yes, I even made a lie that I want a woman to win, but of course I want myself to win. But yeah, at that point I was like, because I was really close to Rasmus as well. We had like a long one-to-one, and I don't want him to go. But at that point, I have to choose the people I can progress with. And my thinking was, Rasmus is not as connected as a lot of these women are. So I would like to work with those women that has more connection, because that is like indirect connections of people who are going to save my game at the end.
And I really wanted to work with Rasmus. We were in the same starting room as was Nicole, which doesn't mean everything, but at that point, we'd already lost Stan, and I wanted to keep him around. So, but it seemed like such a lost cause because his name was coming up so much that I felt like the only thing I could do at that point was I had thrown my vote on Amanda in the previous round to try and spread it out a bit more. Sorry, Amanda. And I actually voted for you many times last night. And then I voted for her again, and I was putting her name out, saying I was hearing it even when I wasn't, and that was my one way of trying to save Rasmus, because I didn't want to make it sound like I was specifically trying to save him, just because I figured it was probably a lost cause.
Yeah. I wish I saw Rasmus in that round. I would have defended him more if I saw him, but I did not see him. So yeah, it was hard for me to like make a case for him if I did not even see him that round.
Yeah, during intros, I wanted to establish some sort of European alliance with Rasmus. I thought we had like a solid case there, but I rarely saw him through the game, so we weren't able to establish that connection.
I made like a final two with him, the Asset Alliance, or like I'm loving your asset, I love my asset. Let's do this. But then yeah, his name was just like being thrown around so much.
Yeah, it really is a situation. I mean, it always happens in those early rounds that if your name's out there, you can't get it out. And that's why, I mean, to be quite honest, watching last night, I was a little concerned about the mini at this point. I was like, everybody's just kind of jumping on the name that's already out there and nobody's really making moves. And that's always a sign of, uh-oh, this might not be the most entertaining. But it definitely, I feel like from, this phase on really picked up and you all started to make some pretty big moves. We can move on now to round 6, a heartbreaking round. This was the highest even number vote round, which I feel like very, very often leads to a tie. And in this case, it did between Lewis and Amanda and led to another wheel in which it ended Sarah's game, unfortunately. So let's discuss what happened there, how we got to it, why we couldn't break the tie, and wheel.
Yeah, I just say something happened the round before that gives like more understanding what happened this round. I accidentally threw Louis his name in the same room when we were all there, like, Renzo, why are you doing this? Oh no! I was like, and then I wasn't able to talk. I was just trying to find him all the while for the round before that, so that I can make amendments. But I was like, now I have to target Louis, because even if I want to work with him, he's gonna target me. So there's like just another thing there.
I made it so obvious that like when Renzo did that, I hadn't really had no target as such in mind until Renzo decided to throw my name in the same room as me. So I was like, okay, brilliant, I've got a target now. And I don't know, I think it was this round or the round after where I was in a room with Ashley and some others, and I was like, okay, I have reason to target Renzo. And I found out through that Ashley and Renzo were like tight, they were close together. So Ashley was like, can you squash this beef? I'm like, and then she goes running into another room, and I'm like, oh shit, because she's going to now run after Renzo, telling him that I'm targeting him. And I was like, no, I need to chase after Ashley now.
But I going back to the highest even round though, I was in an original room with like all the women. The starting room was all the women. I think I was with Kayla, Goldie, Ashley, Nicole, probably. And we were like, we want Ryan out. Because I think that's the first round. Ryan was available to be eliminated. Same as me. Same as with Kayla, I think. This is like the first round where really we can receive votes. And it's like, let's just stick a big for Ryan. And I was really wishing Ryan would go that round because he's very dangerous in the game. He has his own podcast, I believe, and stuff. But I think what happened was at the end of the round, I saw Ryan, Lauren was there, and Chris, and they were asking me who I'm voting. I'm sure, and Ryan was there. That's why I cannot say Ryan. And I thought that he probably changed his vote from me to himself to get an odd vote. I'm not sure if that makes sense, but that's what I think happened, leading to the two highest even votes for Amanda and Louie. Because does anybody have like a better idea what happened in this round?
Okay, so I haven't watched everything, but I have a couple friends that they watched and they told me that you guys in Podquester were so frustrated with this round. And I wanted to let you guys know it was very difficult because once it was a tie, it was 16 people. It was more likely to end up in a wheel than not because you get the 8-8 pair and then all the even pairs, and you only have like 40% to be not even pair. So we were done, and there was no way for us to fix it. And I know you guys but keep strategizing. It didn't make sense. It makes sense. It make more sense to be social and make bonds with people than trying to figure out something that statistically wise wasn't going to happen.
No, I agree with you completely. I think more so like before the tie, we were saying that nobody was saying a name and nobody was willing to come up with a plan. After the tie, you're completely right. It's a complete crapshoot. There's really nothing you can do. You might as well just not even bother because, you just have to hope that somebody ends up being even and it won't go to the wheel.
Yeah, back then I was still like Team Amanda. I was like, no, I want to save Amanda, but I don't know how to do it until you betray us.
But before the tie, though, I think people knew what they were doing. It's just that we don't want the name to be thrown around so much because there's a possibility that it might go odd. Apparently, a lot of people targeted Ryan that could have caused it to be an odd number. But this round is really tricky because you are targeting somebody, but you don't want that person to know that they're being targeted so that they don't do a self-vote or like other people to vote for that person because it would bring to an odd vote. So this round is tricky. It might be seen as like boring to some extent to the viewers, but everybody I think in the game knew what they were doing or like we're considering a lot of options. It wasn't just as flashy as a round as it could have been.
Is there something that you
can? Sorry.
Is there something that you can do in this situation? Like when it gets to a tie, there's not like, how can you?
You can. Once it's a tie, it's done. I mean, my approach is always before it goes to a tie, just try to get twos on as many people as possible. You have your 6 or you have your 4, stick to it, and then just run around and try to get 2 people to vote for as many different people as possible, which if for whatever reason it does end up in a tie, it ends up in a tie of, multiple people, or just try to get as many names out there as you can. But once it's a tie, it's done. You might as well just chat for the 90 seconds that you have to break it.
Anyway, can I just say that I was always loyal to Room 2 and that I never betrayed you guys. Ryan was the one who said, oh, Renzo's trying to get the majority of votes so he could stay. And what round was it? The second highest leaves?
Amanda.
I'm okay. That was stupid that I believed that. But I was like, okay, like I was so
here's the deal.
So exhausted that I believed it. I was like, okay. I never voted you guys.
Here's the deal. I think by that round, I started to realize that there was one very good side. That was Louie, Travis, Ryan. Like they were protecting each other. And I was like, oh, these people have each other's back. Because I wanted Louie out so bad. And then whenever I said Louie, Ryan and Travis were like, no. It wasn't like, oh, maybe no. They were like, no. I was like, shit.
Rachel was also in that group. I think
Rachel, yes. And I wasn't happy. I was like, okay, we need to have a good side. And that's the moment when I realized, okay, I need my people. And I went to a room and it was just Kayla and me. And Kayla's like, Umbi, Amanda turned Renzo. I was like, okay, she got to go.
And then Renzo came in and I was like, yes, I've been chasing you all night to tell you this information.
Yeah, like, Amanda, I thought you turned on him. And from that moment on, you were like, okay, it's the three of us and not four. How
Dead to
can you
me.
turn on my boy Renzo? No.
Yeah, I was like, I was really betrayed, but I was like, at that point, I don't know. I really trust Kayla and Humby. I want to work with them so bad, and I still want our four to be tight. So I was like, I can forget about this. I just want you to know that it came to me at some point. Anyways, what round was this?
So we're on the highest even number of votes round. I want to say that was one of the things, and we'll get into it more as it goes on, but one of the things I was most impressed with you, Humby, was the fact how loyal you were. I feel like it is rare to see in a game like this someone actually not just be loyal and not vote against them, but actually go to bat for someone and risk themselves for a member of an alliance that they probably met 3 hours ago. So I felt like that was very, very admirable.
Yeah, I'm
Our
loyal to a
spirits met
fault,
years
but-
ago.
Oh, yes, I'm loyal to a fault, but I want also to say that I was very lucky because the people that I was loyal to were very good game players. So it helped me to be loyal to them because for me, they were shields. I was like, there's no way I go before Kayla. There's no way. She's my Ryan died, and she's going to go at the very end, and I'm going to be, and then it did it.
So going back to this round, I thought one of the things that was interesting at the very end of the round, Sarah, so it was you, the first round before the tie, it was you in a room with Ashley. And Ashley was very diehard on voting Lewis, and you did not want to do it at all. But as the round progressed, she basically said there was no other option and essentially forced you to actually end up voting Lewis. Now, my question would be, did you end up voting for him? And if so, that probably led to the tie.
Yeah, I did vote for him, and that totally fucked me. But what happened, it wasn't that she forced me. It was that she was suggesting it, the strategy that you were talking about, get pairs voting on different things. And there were very few guys left to vote for. And as I was saying, I just wanted to keep all the girls around. So as we were leaving the room where she was like, we have to vote for Lewis together. And I was planning to leave the room. And instead of spreading that to see where everyone else was voting, the round ended. So I was like, okay, well, we'll have the pair on Lewis and see what happens. And then the rest is history.
And then the wheel. How were you and everyone else feeling when we realized it was going to the wheel?
I had an LOS and I didn't play it, and so I got really nervous.
Yeah, I honestly, I feel like that with that many people left in the game and on the wheel, I wasn't that nervous. It's definitely the odds that you're going home are less than the other rounds, but obviously that's not how it worked out for me. But yeah, pretty unfortunate way to go.
At least you can say you were never voted out, and that is most important. I feel strongly like you'll play again, but tell me more. How was your overall experience, and do you think you'll stick around the Sequester community?
I loved every second of it. I've played a couple games like this in more just friends of friends putting it on and that sort of thing, and I have become very quickly obsessed with this during quarantine. So I'm set on playing again. Immediately messaged Audrey, I need to play again, and she seemed down. So
awesome. Well, we're excited to see you again. Thank you for coming on. You were great. All right, so that brings us to round 7, which was the second highest amount of votes. This one led to yet another tie between Ashley and Rachel after ineffective LOS and ended Rachel's game. How were we? I feel like it started coming out here that, Rachel, you were protecting your starting room pretty hard, and Lauren started calling this out a little bit in the round before, and it kind of came to fruition here. What was your thinking there in being so diehard for the people you started with, and how did we end up with you being in a tie with Ashley?
Honestly, I didn't have any other alliances. I didn't really know anyone else, so I was kind of just diehard for my starting room. Figured that was the best way to go. Looking back, I realized now I should have been a lot more low-key about it and maybe not so outwardly against voting against them, but because I guess that kind of led to my demise. But it felt like it kind of came out of nowhere. Like I didn't hear my name the entire time, and then suddenly there was a tie. Even Ashley's too. I think I was actually in a room with my starting room. I don't know if we're the ones who ended up voting for Ashley, but we were saying, okay, there were a lot of names going out throughout the entire round, and then kind of towards the end, it was just us in one room, and it was 4 of us, and we were saying, okay, let's pick one person, and us 4 will just vote for that one person, and then that'll be an even number. And I don't know if that's what we ended up doing. That's what I ended up doing. And I think we voted for Ashley. And maybe someone else did the same thing and got me in there. I'm not really sure what happened. I haven't looked back at it yet.
You probably left with like 2 votes. I think that was a tie 2 and 2 because I think Renzo got like 12 votes or something like that. That's what happened. Your name wasn't said much. Like not many people voted.
Oh, this is the second lowest one.
Yeah,
I'm
it was
confusing around.
The second highest. No, by
gosh.
the end, I feel like we probably rallied 4 or 5 votes for you. I think, but I'm not sure. And it was I don't know for sure if I was the first one to bring your name up, but I definitely brought it up. It was kind of the first time in the game where I specifically targeted someone, and I have a friend that was standing you hard, and she's not talking to me right now, Rachel. So, so
I love it.
And I can tell you exactly where it started. There was an earlier round where there were 5 of us in a room, and as one does, people were saying, "Hey, I really like this 5." And you made a comment. You were like, "Oh, I already had stars beside most of your names. I guess I'll add one to Lauren." And so I was quite suspicious of you. I think me and Goldie were the 2. You said you didn't yet. And so I put like a question mark beside your name at that point. And then in this very round, because there were other names going around first, and I just happened to be in one room with you, and then we both moved to the same one after. And in the one room, somebody brought up either Ryan or Lewis, and you immediately shut it down. And then in the next room, somebody brought up the other one of those 2, and you immediately shut that down too. And I took a look at the cast list, and I was like, oh, I think they were in the same room. There aren't many rooms that are fully intact. So as soon as you left, I think there were 3 other people in that room. Travis was one of them, and I feel like he started pushing you hard too, but I'm not sure.
Perfect timing, actually.
Oh, excellent.
Yeah, I had been told that Rachel told me that my name was out there. And I was like, who was saying my name? And they're like, oh, room 4. So I jumped to room 4, and I was like, who's saying my name? They're like, Rachel.
Yeah, because anybody that came to our room, we just started saying Rachel's name. And so it happened pretty late in that round, but I feel like we probably managed a few votes for you because of that. Travis, I don't know if you want to speak to it, because I think you then left that room, and I don't know if you continued passing her name around to others as well, or...
I did. Like because it was fishy to me too when we were in the room all together and like we were suggesting Ryan. I really wanted to get Ryan out at this point, and the way Rachel was just like not Ryan, I was like shit. Like I don't think this is a non-starter. I need to just like go and just tell other people about specifically their relationship. It wasn't as much as getting Rachel out specifically because I wanted to work with Rachel. It was just like I need to break those 2 up, and I think Rachel is probably the easier name.
Yeah, I'm surprised that these are all happening. In my head, I was like, everybody was voting for me, so might as well just campaign for myself. Vote for me, everybody. Vote for me. And I really believe a lot of people when they said like they're gonna vote for me, but like seeing this is all happening.
Renzo, I did vote for you, and looking back, I hadn't heard my name once, and if I had, I would have voted for myself.
Yeah, I think you at least had like 8 or 9 votes. Because there was a room of 5 of us that we said, okay, let's do Renzo, and then you came in right immediately and like vote for yourself and campaign to people that like you to vote for you. And then you left, and there was still like 20 more seconds. So I'm assuming you campaigned for yourself on the next room after that.
Yeah, and at this point, I was like, this is smart because it would save me in the history don't repeat itself. That was already at the back of my head at that point. So yeah. Who targeted Ashley then? I'm surprised that Ashley got a pirate name.
It was like literally like the last like 20 seconds of the round. He was like,
Yeah,
let's just
last
put
20
all our
seconds,
votes on
Ryan
Ashley. And I did, because I was like a little sus about her. Like I did not see her in many rooms. And then I don't remember how, but I think I was in the room with Rachel when she it was announced that there was a tie. I had not heard Rachel at all. And I was like shook, and I was like, okay, well, I'm putting my vote on you. I don't want you to go.
Yeah.
No, thanks.
I think it was the connection with Renzo that made me vote Ashley. I was going to probably vote
same,
Ashley.
same.
Yeah, so.
Can I also just say that after all this discussion, so I guess this was after the tie, and when we were doing it again, I was continuing to explain the Rachel vote, and at one point I said the whole "she seems really tight with her starting room" to someone that I then realized was in her starting room, and then I ended up in room 1 and by myself, and so room 1 or 2, and started sort of a confessional of I probably shouldn't have said that, and as I was going through this, Rachel pops into the room, and
you seemed like you were like not happy to see me, and I was like, uh-oh.
And so then it was the two of us in that room as it was announced, and I actually, because I felt so bad about the whole thing, I did actually vote for you again that second time because I wasn't sure if I'd convinced you, because I basically laid out the entire argument why you got votes. I just failed to mention the fact that it was me that started that argument. So I actually did vote for you the next time, but you didn't get the most votes, and then so you end up going. So I was genuinely sad to see you go, but that was that was my duplicitous moment of the evening.
I have to say,
It's okay, you played it well.
At this time, I really thought that Lauren was playing so smart, and like she was directly on the top of like my big threats that I wanna be gone. I just don't know how to bring it up because I still don't know who you were connected back then. Like I don't want you to know that I really find you smart at that point. It's like, oh, she's playing. She is playing.
That means a lot. Thanks.
I thought you were really, I mean, as a character, one of the top of the night, Lauren. I really enjoyed watching you. And like, I was this close. I was literally this close to making a tweet with you in the mask and something really nice to say. And like right before you got voted out, I was very upset about that. But I thought you were a ton of fun to watch. I feel like the mask will go down in infamy as like a Sequester thing now. I feel like you have your spot in Sequester and that you can come back with that mask at any point and people will remember who you are, which is, it's
good and bad by the sounds of it to remember.
Yeah, it's true. It's hard to make yourself memorable, and you made yourself memorable pretty quick.
My favorite thing during the intro video, little explanation about that. I'm Canadian.
That's true. Oh man, I never gained any traction with my fellow Canadians in that game with Goldie and Jess. I was almost afraid we'd be seen as a group, so I kind of tried to veer away from that. But
I was surprised you guys didn't.
Yeah, I tried it. I threw it out there a couple of times, and I think they had discussed with each other, it sounds like, but I never got much traction on it, and so then I actually ended up not specifically targeting them, but I certainly wasn't protecting them at any point.
So Rachel, what do you think overall? I got a big hype about you before the game started. I felt like you played a pretty solid game. What were your thoughts overall, and do you think that Sequester is for you? Will you be back?
I'll definitely be back. I think it was a lot harder than I expected, but I think I learned a lot. I think in the future, I'm going to have to learn to lie more and be more low-key about anyone that I'm trying to save, but definitely will apply again. I had a ton of fun. Thank you guys so much. I love playing with you all and meeting you all.
Absolutely. Thank you for coming on.
Alpha Gamma Sequester for life.
Alpha Gamma Sequester. I'm expecting more. I'm expecting more members at some point. I feel like they're just going to keep coming in.
We'll see. We'll keep recruiting. Thanks.
All right. Thank you. All right, so that brought us to an interesting round. Now, this was good. This was a good one. We haven't seen this. I mean, I don't even remember the last time I've seen this. I don't know if I have seen this twist, quite honestly. I know it's been done, but I can't remember if I've ever seen it. If it was way back. So we got split up into rooms of 7. You could only vote for your own room. And you both had the same idea, which we all said there's 0 chance. I actually said on the stream, I was like, what is the percentage that this could possibly work? I put it at 15%. That was far too high. The answer was 0. But who came up with the ideas in the different room to make sure that you were all voting? Everybody got 1 vote. And secondly, room 1 did it better than room 2 because room 2 made a complicated.
We were room 2 and 4, right? It
was 2 and 4. So room 4 decided we're all gonna vote sideways. Like you vote for this person, you vote for this person. Whereas you could have just said, let's all just vote for ourselves. That would have, stopped a bit of confusion. But how did you all come to that?
I think in my room, I initially proposed the idea, and I really wanted it to be on the left and not on yourself because I trust Jess. So it was kind of selfish for me to do that. It was like, because when I was about to propose it, somebody talked, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna change it right now and then do the left thing. It was longer to take place because it was difficult. Like, you vote this, but I was like, people remaining in the game really gives importance to loyalty. So I felt like that was also a great way to show loyalty if you're like, anyways. But I just thought maybe it wasn't a smarter move, but I thought that because I trusted Jess, I was in a better, I wanted it to be vote on the left instead of vote for yourself.
Yeah, in our room, I did say, if you want to be smart, let's do this. And then Ryan said, let's do it for ourselves. And I was like, perfect. I prefer it to be on ourselves because I could control if I was going to get one vote more or less. And I wasn't going to get one vote.
Yeah, poor Amanda got more votes because Ashley didn't trust me to not vote for her instead of Christian. So
I don't know why she wouldn't have put her vote on you. And that did not.
She thought I was going to vote for her.
Now, Ashley was coming for you from earlier than that, Amanda.
I didn't like her either, but like I was already voting her. Yeah. And I didn't want to like flip my vote on Renzo because like he definitely would have been like, oh, it was you, and then I would have went home either way. I feel like.
Yeah, we in our room thought that it was gonna be you versus Renzo in that room.
Mm-hmm. I need the votes from this round. I need to know who the rats were in my room.
I was a total rat. Total rat. I voted for Lewis. Sorry, Lewis.
I
Which
wrote
is
down 3
hilarious
people
based
that
on...
I was sus about, and you were one of them. So my intuition was right.
Yeah.
I actually did vote for myself. I felt that like the other room would like definitely implode. So I was very willing, and I even said like I'll even go to the wheel for you guys in this round because I didn't think it would ever come to that, and it didn't.
I just remember though, in our room, I was giving statements saying that the other room is more cutthroat than our room. So if we really stick to this plan, it could potentially work. And I was really, really pushing for that. And we were like making a 7 alliance already, and then targeting the person going out next after the vote. So until Ashley.
Okay. So I'm very loyal to the people I choose to be loyal to, which was mostly Renzo and Kayla. But jury was so close, and I knew that the person that was going to get also votes in a tie was going to be a name that was going to be very present for the next round. So I did vote for Ryan.
See,
so I'll just say, at that time, I hadn't decided yet if I wanted to fully cut ties with Ryan, and I knew someone would vote for him because he was so vocal in that round, and that was why I put my vote on Lewis. I was like, who am I fairly confident is going to vote for themselves? And I wasn't sure Ryan would also, and so I put it on Lewis. And then the one person that I also wanted to protect aside from myself and kind of Ryan at that point was Travis too. So I just thought if anybody's going to flip, we need at least 2 people to flip. So I don't know if it was just you and me, Humby, or if others did too.
No, it was the 2 of us and Ashley.
And okay. On the other room. Okay.
That was very interesting because there were more rats in your room than ours, but it ultimately led to Amanda's demise.
Right. Yeah. And I was only a rat. I would have voted for myself, but I was like, I'm convinced one of these people is going to veer off, so it's better that at least 2 of us do, so that hopefully what exactly happened in the other room would happen. So that was my reasoning.
I'm just glad that my name wasn't one of the people that got 2 votes, so I'm not mad about it.
Yeah. I was so worried because at that point I was already in bed with Renzo and Kayla forever, and then she got so mad about a rat. I was like, yeah, bitch, who was it?
I
Like,
caught onto the-
what?
I was
I
like,
caught- I
no
caught onto
way,
the-
it wasn't
terrified
him.
of Kayla after that because she was, and even Ryan was like, "It doesn't matter, guys. We're fine as long as we split this now." But Kayla wanted to know, and I was like, "Oh no!"
I caught onto the fact that Lauren was a rat, but I thought she ratted Ryan. I'm that surprises me.
I know. Well, Lewis, and it's so funny, Lewis, because Humby ended up rallying people to vote me out a couple rounds later, claiming that I was protecting you, and like, and so I don't know if he was full out lying or what, but I was like, wow, I actually really screwed Lewis over, so that's hilarious.
I would say though, in our room, like right after Amanda left, Ashley also brought up that she was the one who voted for Amanda, and I was working very closely with Ashley, so I was like, let's change the topic right away. I was like,
why did
let's
she do that? Why did
Huh?
she say that? Why did she say that it was her?
Because I don't know, maybe I asked her, I just asked the group, and I was very sure that it's not her. But then when she just revealed it, I was like, oh no, it's gonna be the target on your back, and I want to protect her. So like, let's change the topic right away.
It was really funny. Like the first thing that I saw, like right after I got eliminated, I went to to watch it, and then I like went into the room that you all were in, and Ashley was like, "Oh yeah, I voted Amanda," and I was like, "Wow, okay, all right, that's cute. That was real cute."
Yeah, I mean, it was hard. I mean, you really, once the tie happened, there was zero shot because you had to. I mean, we've never seen something like that before, but you had to vote for yourself. So the room was, it was set against you. So your game was sealed.
Yeah, I think it would be great, Louie, if we can ask Ashley. I can go back at the.
She's in the chat right now.
Oh yeah. Well, so you know what I was supposing, what we'll do, if you don't mind, we'll finish out here with Amanda, and then I'll bring Ashley in because there's only room for 10, so we can't bring anybody else in. But yeah, what we'll do, let's finish out. So Amanda, what were your final thoughts on the game there, and how did you enjoy it?
Well, I mean, I was thinking of throwing my vote too, but I didn't know who to throw it to because I liked almost everyone in the room, and the only people that I thought would come after me, I thought Renzo would automatically know that it was me, because I liked Renzo, but I feel like he would have gone after me if I stayed. And Ashley, I was already putting my vote on her, and so I was like, okay, I'm just gonna stick with this and hope that that nothing bad happens. And then I got ridiculed by my dad afterwards, but that's okay. And once I realized that it was between Ryan, Lewis, and myself, I just started laughing because I knew that I was gone. What am I supposed to do? I'm not gonna, I'm not gonna be, I'm not gonna cry about it.
Worst thing is you had to vote for yourself.
That was so funny. I wrote to Audrey. I when I had to vote myself, I was like, I vote myself because I love myself. And yeah, I love my title of being, this robbed queen. Honestly, it's the best way I could have gone because it was
so many robbed goddesses and gods and queens last night. Lots of robberies.
It was very funny. It's not like the wheel where it kind of stings that it was randomized. It was, just funny that I had to vote myself out, and that's why I left.
Do you expect to play again?
Oh hell yeah, obviously.
Sounds good. Absolutely. Thank you for joining us.
Bye.
Do your homework.
Actually, I do have to, so I will be going to do that. Bye, guys.
Bye. I was so surprised. Me and Amanda come from the the one community, the one Twitter org community. She literally played my game 2 weeks ago. So when she got revealed in the cast, I was like, wow.
It's definitely interesting. I mean, we always talk about it, but the pre-existing relationships, even if they're not Sequester related, because we have so many people who come from orgs who know each other in orgs. And Lewis, you, for example, I knew you just from Twitter and stuff, and just talking on Sequester Twitter, even though I had never seen you play before. And I feel like it is, you can pick people out, but I've also been in situations where I've played games with people, played Sequester, and then when I got out, I was like, oh, I did know that person, and I had no idea until within the game. And here is Ashley. Hi, Ashley. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Wonderful. Thanks for coming on. Yeah, so just to stick with this same round so we can kind of get your perception of it and why you threw that vote and how that went down.
Okay, so I was in a room with Chris, Christian, Jess, Amanda, Renzo, Nicole, and myself. Those were the 7 people. I was working with Chris, Christian, Jess, and Renzo. So only Amanda and Nicole were the 2 people that I wasn't working with, and they were on either sides of me. And I looked at the room as soon as all the people formed in that room, and I was like, okay, well, if I threw out a name, all the people that I'm working with, we could probably just push that name and put all our votes on that name. And I was gonna do Nicole, just because, I mean, I feel bad, but I didn't know Nicole very well, and her and I weren't in a whole lot of rooms together. And so I thought that she might have been with that Ryan side. And
I had actually wanted to work with you. I had seen
the same way. I never had any one time with him. So those were just the people that I was working with, and those were the names that we were throwing out, and that's what we were doing. And then so once Renzo brought that up first, I didn't want to then like go back on it after everybody had agreed on it, but I was still worried that Nicole might put a vote on me, or somebody might put a vote on me, since my name had already been out there in that tied round and everything. So I felt like stuff was kind of happening. So since everybody was voting to the left, I knew that Amanda was voting for me, and I was supposed to vote for Nicole. And I couldn't signal to anybody to throw their vote onto Nicole, who's out of the 2, the one that I wanted out. So I had to throw my vote, and I didn't want to throw it on Renzo, Chris, Christian, or Jess. So that's why I threw it on Amanda. But what I wanted to happen was, I thought in the event that Nicole or somebody else did throw their vote on me, it would at least be a tie between me and Amanda. And then I would have a chance to advocate for myself. Or I was hoping that there'd only be 2 votes on Amanda, and that the other room would have more than 2 votes on somebody to have the majority. So that was what my thought process was. I did not enjoy the way that happened. I didn't enjoy lying about it. I am not a villain in real life. I swear. I did not, and I liked throwing the votes and I liked doing that stuff, but having to lie to somebody to their face like that was not fun, especially having to sit in the room when she had to vote for herself and have to lie and say it wasn't me. That was just, I was scared, but it was because Nicole was still there and I didn't want her to take that information out. So then after that, when Nicole was the first one to leave the room, my group was saying, who did that? And that's why I said it was me, because number one, I'm a terrible liar. And number two, I thought that might build more trust with my group to let them know what I did. So that was my reasoning.
Yeah, that was the only thing I was curious about. Well, afterwards, was it smart to tell them? But I do think it was. I mean, it probably would have come out eventually anyway. I feel like they would have.
I didn't want to lie to my group, the people that I was with. So I was trying, that was my thought process, but it probably wasn't right. And I apologize so wholeheartedly to you, Amanda, and I've done that. I feel really bad about that. Nobody should have to go that way. If I would have known the outcome, I would have done things differently, because that was really shady, and I am very sorry.
I mean, but let's put, as Sharifa would say, credit on your name. You played an incredible game last night. Like you were so running things for a large majority of the game. And I think everybody was super impressed watching you come back into this game and play as hard as you did. I felt proud. I was really happy watching you play. And it was very entertaining. And, I mean, were you
messy?
Yeah, I was going to say, were you a villain? Maybe a little, but embrace it. Nothing wrong with that. We love a villain.
It was out of character for me, and I was home by myself. I'm not now, so I feel really bad about things that I did last night. But I just tried to play a fun game, and I tried to have fun, and I did that. So
yeah, I would just have to say I've only met Ashley, I think, last week or 2 weeks ago or something like that, and I just fell in love with how nice she is as a person. So I was like, we've never even talked about the game. I never really knew that she was playing. But at that point, I'm going to be like, I'm going to be loyal to Ashley. And I know that she's going to have my back as well. Because we're just like a new friend, and I know that she's very genuinely nice, and I know that she knows I'm nice. I hope, but
I hope that I kept it game wise and not,
that's very
personally.
important, though. I don't think that you have to say that you didn't enjoy something because it's a game. So I mean,
Well,
I was devious at times.
that was so hard to sit there and watch her have to vote for herself, and there's
Actually, but that was
literally
such a
nothing
good
she can
move,
do.
and it was all you. You cannot tell me you didn't enjoy it. You have to enjoy it
I
a
really,
little bit.
that was not fun. And if you ever go back and watch it, whenever I got into a room by myself, that's the first thing I did. I was like, Amanda, I am so sorry.
I'll say that our room of 7 loved it.
I also think the majority of people respect the game enough to hopefully not be bitter. So I think
It's
you're
a
all
game.
good.
It's not for money.
I was just playing a game. So
moms need to have fun. You said that in your intro video. So girl, you let loose and
Ashley
be happy.
motherfucking Jordan.
That's what made it even. I feel like the contrast of the video. Like I felt like the video was such a good lead-in to how you played the
I
game.
was really worried about that because my first game I was more like making connections with people. I was loyal to everybody, and I really felt like that's the biggest thing that I learned because there were so many wheels and I went out on a wheel that the reason why I threw my votes the way I did and did all that kind of stuff was because I was trying to learn from that game, and that the thing that I said that I wanted to do the most was to vote smarter. And so that's like the majority of the reason why I did the things that I did.
Gotcha. So let's go to the next round now, which this was the round where if you voted in the majority, you were up for elimination the next round. And this is the one that ended Ryan's game, which he was another one. His name was out there for quite a few rounds beforehand and was kind of scrambling for his life. But how did we end up on Ryan getting booted here?
I would credit it to Ashley. I think Ashley really said that it's now the right time to vote Ryan out. And I kind of like tried to reinforce that because I had an LOS at this point. I was like, I would be able to save myself, so I can really just put myself out there. And it's like, I'm going to vote for majority, and I'm trying to like push that mentality to everybody so that you will just all vote Ryan out as well. And I think I also brought up that Ryan told in his video that he's going to be a bitter juror. And I think that was the right time to bring that up because jury is coming and you don't want any bitter jurors in the jury.
That was it for me. When you said that, I was like, okay, I mean, that's a good reason as any. So sure, let's do it.
And I know, Travis, you brought up sort of how charismatic and persuasive he had been in the previous round. And at that point, I was wanting to work with you, and you had backed me up when I had thrown Rachel's name out. So, and it's funny because I've seen some people contacted me or like on some tweets thought that I was like hardcore going for Ryan, and really I was just supporting what I thought Travis was wanting to do. So that was kind of interesting. And I'd love to talk about, given that me voting for him is why I eventually went home, I'd love to talk about why I opted to actually do it when that time comes.
Like in the round where it was the 7 of us in the room, like I felt like Ryan kind of like just like in a lot of ways like took control of the conversation, and I was just like, that's someone who like that intimidates me. So I was like that's dangerous to me. I wanted to get him out. I wanted to get him out for like a while. Like I said earlier, like I wanted like him and Rachel split up, and I wanted him gone. Like he was someone who like I felt like he was a good talker. Like people got along well with him, and like I wanted to be the Ryan. So I need to like get out Ryan. So and this seemed like an opportunity where we could push him out, and like I wanted to vote in the majority because I wanted to like show that I was like true to my word. Like, okay, I'll get out Ryan, even if I go up as a nomination. Like people know, like once I say something, I'll do it. Yeah. So it was like a perfect storm at that point.
Yeah, and similarly, because a couple of the people that were in our room that were discussing Ryan had been in our room when I did not follow through with the self-vote and had voted for Lewis, I felt like it was important for me to keep to my word that time because otherwise I figured I would have no standing with those people, and I knew the drag round was coming up. So I felt like if I do this, maybe they won't think I was a rat in the last one. So I felt it was important to stick to it.
Yeah, I would like to echo what Lauren said. I think a unique thing about this cast is that loyalty has always come up every round, and at that point, in order for you to continue working with people, you have to prove your loyalty and trust. And voting to be in the majority kind of reinforces that. It might not be a sneaky move, but I think that was a smart move just to maintain the connections that you're wanting to build with the people moving into the game.
What were all of our thoughts initially on Rick and Morty? I actually haven't seen. I've seen a few episodes, but I was more impressed because I know he has a Survivor podcast as well, and that I knew, which is probably a weird thing to know better than Rick and Morty. But that's where my life is. What were you all thinking about that? Did that sway you at any bit at any point?
Well, I actually knew about the podcast too, so that swayed it in that I didn't want him to go too far in the game. I kind of figured maybe like first drawer, because good talker, he's entertaining. But Rick and Morty's a great show. I don't really know that particularly swayed me in anything.
I mean, that didn't really bother me that much. I don't really know the show.
I knew of him because he has done music for RHAP for years, so I recognized his name, and he was a total daddy, and I was like, okay, he cannot make it past jury because he gets himself in a final 2. People are gonna be like, sure, why not? So no, out.
There you go. Humby, mic drop. Done. So Ryan left that round, and that brought us to round 10. So the people who voted in the majority were Goldie, Travis, Jess, Lauren, Renzo. And this was where Lauren ended up leaving with her sign that said to avenge her, which was another one of my favorite moments. But it seemed like Humby, you kind of called the shots in this round and kind of led to the Lauren elimination. But how did we all get there?
I was up and somebody said Lauren. I was on the block like every single time. I was like, okay, yeah, sure. My name's not Lauren. Let's do Lauren. I would have preferred it to be somebody else, but I mean, I was never really in a position in this game to push anything except for with Jason. So.
Honestly, this round I was using room 1 as a confessional booth, so I was I was like, I'm safe. I'll just go talk to everyone else that's watching.
I'm really curious, Humby. I mean, I assumed I was targeted by you and Nicole because you were worried if I went later, I might drag you because you were the 2 in my room who said you were going to vote for Ryan and didn't, which I had no issue with, except my reaction to that was sort of like a smile and a head shake. And later I was like, they may have misinterpreted that. But then I heard through the grapevine, it was because you were saying I was protecting Lewis, which I know wasn't true. So I didn't know if you were lying about that, or I'm really curious.
Yeah. So on the moment that I decided to lie and campaign hard for Ryan, and then I didn't vote for him, I tried to look at the faces of people, and I got a face that you didn't like that.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, so I need to get her out before the drag because she's going to be, well, Humberto's untrustworthy. I'm going to drag him. And I have already created a narrative that there was a side that was like Travis, Louie, Rachel, and everybody knew that was like Ashley and Chris and Christian. So I was like, okay, if we can make sure that people believe that Lauren is with one of the 2 sides, people will get scared. So I had to get you out, but I didn't have any other reason. Like your name was never floated around. Everybody liked you and your mask. I was like, but she needs to go. She needs to go before the drag. So I was like, okay, no, yeah, she's with Louie and Ryan and Travis. Every time you say their names, she comes around. But no, you weren't. But
no, not at all. No, that was what was so fun. And it's just funny because I was saying the same thing about most of those people earlier. Like, I think we were targeting the same people, which was hilarious. That then
I know.
Me into it. And so no, but I realized when I did that, and it was literally I was muted, and I was like, "This game, man, it's awesome." And then later I was like, they just see me shaking my head at them, maybe in disgust for not voting with me. That was probably a mistake. And so I assumed it was that, and I wanted to just see because, so that.
Yeah, for me
I
was that.
I knew I was a goner.
I didn't
I
even
also-
vote for you.
Oh,
so.
thanks, Nicole. Appreciate it. I was like, we were the last two from our original room. So I was like, I want her to stay.
Yeah, it was that, especially because Renzo, I knew Renzo had my back, so he wasn't gonna get mad at me for not voting Ryan. And I felt a connection with Goldie during the whole game because I think we had a good vibe. It's like, okay, Goldie's not gonna get mad at me. It's Lauren. It's Lauren.
Yeah. No, and I was so close to also not voting for Ryan, and just for the reasons I mentioned before, I did. So I don't even regret voting for him. I regret that face that I made after. I feel like that, and the fact that I think for the first time the whole game, I stayed in the same room for that entire round. And when I realized, and it was people kept coming in, I felt like I was talking to a lot of people, but I needed to move around more. And as soon as the round ended, and I realized I had made that face and I didn't follow up with Humby or Nicole, and I stayed in the whole room for the entire round, I made my note that said avenge me because I was like, I'm a goner. And also I feel like Kayla lied to my face at one point in that round where I was like, did you hear my name? And you were like, oh, maybe once. And then like you left the room shortly thereafter. And I was like, I am such a goner. If I had an LOS, I 100% would have played it. And I was in a room with Chris and I think he was being truthful. I think that he did not think it was going to be me. And I'm just sitting here thinking like, it really is. I know it is. I could feel it. So at least I had my note ready.
I think I always told people when I heard their name, but I didn't always know how to say it.
Right. Yeah. No, it was just, I was like, it was just something about it. I was like, oh, she said just one person, but I doubt it. And I should have started moving around at that point. Like you did at least sort of clue me in, and I didn't use that information effectively. So.
But Humby's point was very a big yes for me though, because for the longest time you've been a big mystery. I did not know who you were really working with. So if we can like clarify that, who did you really work with in the game?
So I wanted to be tight with Nicole. We'd only see each other sort of in passing, but I wanted to stay tight with her. At one point, and Travis, I don't know if this meant as much to you as it did to me, but you, me, and Christian were in a room, and I really liked the three of us in that room, and so I wanted to stick with you guys. I didn't see Christian much for the rest of the game, but I did run into Travis a few times, and I wanted to stick with Travis, and so probably the people that I was probably most loyal to by the end were Travis and Nicole. And then right at the end, Chris was like, oh, you and me final two, which I'm pretty sure you said to just about everybody. But I really liked Chris too. So yeah.
Thank you.
Awesome. So Lauren, what do you think overall about the game? Anything you wish you did, or did you enjoy it?
Oh, I loved it. And yeah, I mean, like I said, I could list a bunch of things, even more so than voting for Ryan in the first place, that led to my demise in that round. Like that I could have done better. And I recognized them before I even saw the final vote. So, but at the end of the day, I had a blast. I was supposed to play in a private mini on Monday, and there was this weird IP address YouTube issue thing that prevented me from doing so. And I was just devastated all week. And so I was so grateful that when this opportunity came up, like Audrey let me play kind of right away. And that was actually kind of nice because the nerves were sort of out. Like I was just like super stoked to get through the process of watching everybody's videos because I'd gotten further at that point than I had on Monday. So I had a blast, and it was so nice to meet all of you. And I hope to continue to chat with you on social media and everything. So
I had forgotten about that. Yeah, I forgot that you were going to play on Monday and you didn't get to. Very, very happy you got to play this time around because I think you're a lot of fun. So
thank you
see
so
you
much.
Again.
Yes, me too. Thanks, guys. Take care.
Adventure. All right. So that brought us to the last round before the jury, which was the drag round, which resulted in Nicole's elimination and her taking Lewis along with her. Seemed like a pretty quick round, but how did we get here, and how do we maneuver through that?
Well, Renzo lied to me, so.
I didn't.
You said in our starting room that me, you, Lewis, Jess, and Chris wouldn't vote for each other. And then you and Lewis both voted for me.
See, here's the thing. I got swayed at the last minute. I was in room one with, I can't remember who was there. I know Ash was there. I was like, what do we think about Humberto? I was going to originally be voting for Humberto.
I have to give.
Ashley threw Nicole's last minute, and I guess my mind just went blank, and I just voted Nicole. I voted for Nicole after the last minute. If I stuck with my original plan, I'd probably still be there with jury.
Yeah. I would have to say though, Nicole, at that point, right before the round, I was playing defensive in this round because I really thought that people will throw their votes. And I have enough allies to tell me if my name is gonna be is thrown around, and it wasn't. So I was like from defensive of saying like whoever votes me, I will drag to an offensive game, and then like right before the round ends, Ashley went into the room, and I was so scared because I saw that she was scared, and she just shouted Nicole, Nicole. I was like, okay, my only game for this is to save Ashley, and that's me voting you out. And if you drag me, I have an LOS. So I wasn't scared to be dragged at that round. So yeah, Ashley, why Nicole?
What were the other names that were going out that round? Does anybody remember?
Louis?
Yeah, Louis was out there. I think I voted for you.
Trav?
I voted Louis.
No, it was the alliance that the Louis, Travis, Rachel. Those were the names that kept going during those rounds.
Yeah,
but
I was pushing Humberto.
If I had heard Humberto, I was trying to save him, and so I did the thing then at the end to say a name really fast, and then that would be the last thing you heard. And then knowing that it was a drag round, I didn't vote for the person. That's what happened.
I think that was the shortest round. It was so short. I couldn't believe it. And it was like with the drag and the shortest one, I was like, that's it. And the mod was like, yep.
I don't think it was that short. I think it was just people not saying a name because it's a drag round, so you don't want your name to be thrown around. However, I remember at this round, Kayla and Ashley are gunning for each other because Ryan is already out.
No, I had not started until History Can't Repeat. That was the round that I even said Kayla's name.
I don't know, but at some earlier rounds, you're like, let's vote on Ryan, and then Louis, and then Kayla. I was like, Kayla?
Because Louis was the one that I had been voting for. I've been trying to get him out. Nicole, we were in that room, and I was scared of her already. So, and she could have potentially figured out the lie that I made. She was the one I didn't tell. So I threw her name out.
Got it.
And that's just what happened.
And it's the same with like Kayla and Humpy. I think you were like trying to consider putting out Ashley somewhere in the pre-jury. It's like, Ashley, are you sure? Are you sure? I'm like, she's a big name. So this was wrong, but
No, the problem is that we were already chipping into the other alliance of Louis and Ryan and them. And then we kept leaving Ashley, Jazz, Chris, and Christian and Travis. I was like, they are getting like better because there's gonna be like less people and those are so close. We need to start picking out to that side because I felt like you, but you weren't, but I felt like you, me, and Kayla were kind of like in the middle, bouncing around, sometimes with Goldie, sometimes with Ashley, and we could bounce around, but we needed to start working on Ashley's side because we kept working so hard on Brian's side that Ashley's side got like too big.
Yeah, and I tried to deflect that at that round. So, and I think people were just so scared to throw a name, and I told you, Nicole, the only reason why I voted for you was I was so scared for Ashley, so I voted you.
And Nicole, had I known that you had played before and that you knew Geneva, there's no way I would have said your name, and I would have tried to make it a priority to get in the room with you and to talk to you and to make that connection. So
it was my own downfall. I worked so hard to make sure that nobody, because I didn't expect so many returners to be in this game. I made sure that nobody would recognize me because it's been 2 months since I played. And then I failed to let the returners know that I'm a returner too.
I know it though. I know it. It was at the back of my head.
I did not, and nobody told me either. And so I'm sorry that I put you in with the other group.
Yeah, I didn't know you played till just now.
You played in Untitled Mini, right? That was.
Yeah, so I was such a background character because Dash and DK and like, so I am not at all a memorable person of the 5.8 mini, but I was there. I did play.
To be fair, I didn't. I remembered you, but I didn't realize you were the same person until I went to Twitter.
See, that was
last
the
night to
goal.
get you on. I was like, oh, Nicole, it's you.
I know. I was like, Jeeva's so mad at me. Oh no, gosh! If I would have known, I would not have done what I did. I did not know. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, I kept trying to get in a room with you, Ashley, because I recognized your name from like the Robot Army and from the game that you played before, and I was like, I want to play with her, but I haven't seen her.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
So I do want to ask Nicole about the drag, because that kind of threw me off a little bit, just because your reasoning was that Louis had survived so much. And to me, like, I understood, I thought he was probably at risk for the drag anyway, but I didn't understand the reasoning in terms of, for me, if I'm dragging someone, I don't want to eliminate the person who has had to fight so hard to stay in the game. So what was your thinking with that?
My brain was not working fast enough to try to come up with a good enough reason. Looking back, it works because he was in the room that said, let's not vote for each other, and then voted for me. But it was just off the cuff and couldn't keep up with my own words. So.
Yeah, I have no reason to be good. I think my first mini to be dragged just before the jury, I think that was pretty iconic on my end. But again, for that reasoning, I wanted to prove myself heading into the jury phase, the fact that I was surviving so much. But yeah, there's no hard feelings at all. So yeah.
Louis, people love you like very, very much. It was. I don't think we could have gotten the votes on you. Like, I'm glad that it happened in a drag because your name was not sticking.
Right. Yeah. Like, I don't know how I pulled that off. I guess I don't know. Like, I'm just
your damn likable self.
I'm a likable person, I guess.
There you go.
Oh, the
Yes.
YouTube chat was
Yes.
thirsting over me. They were like, they were asking if I was of age. Also,
Get it.
Yeah, I know that I started
I'm
voting
happy
for you
to
round
know.
3. So you were out there. You were a target out there for a long time.
Yeah.
So do you both think, we'll start with Nicole, do you think you'll come back and make a third appearance at any point?
Well, I'm slated to play in the 8-11 game, the 5-8
People
versus
are
16.
pumped for that. That is going to be a ridiculous mini. I'm so
very
excited to watch that. I'm taking that as like my birthday present. My birthday's the next day. I will celebrate by watching the chaos that is going to ensue, watching
I'm
those
so excited. So yes, I will be back.
Wonderful. Louis, what about you?
Oh, 100%. I've been waiting for so long for this opportunity alone, and yeah, I'll be back real quick. I wanted to talk briefly about this, a bit personal. Being a part of the autistic community, this was a huge thing for me. Say 3-4 years ago, I wouldn't be doing this sort of stuff based on that sort of fact. So the fact that being autistic, heading into a social strategy game, making it as far as I did, I'm proud of that. And yeah, so I really appreciate the opportunity. Also, my Instagram is the same as my Twitter handle, so everyone follow me on Instagram as well. And yeah, thank you so much.
You rocked it, Louis. We love you.
Thank you. Thank you both for coming on. All right, so let's get into the jury phase. History Can't Repeat Itself was the first round, and this was the round that ended in Trav's elimination. How did we do that? The thing that stuck out to me most in this round, Humby, was you telling Kayla directly, if you have an LOS, use it.
This is when it got messy for me.
Yeah, let's discuss that, and how did we get to the result that we did?
Well, Ashley, her side was so powerful. I was like, there's no way we can turn the votes here. Like, I knew it wasn't gonna happen. Like Renzo, I think Renzo was also campaigning for Travis. I think Goldie might have been with us, and Kayla, and we were trying, but you weren't, Goldie?
I was pushing for Kayla. Travis is my friend.
Okay, so then it was just the three of us. Like, there was no way that we could do it. It had to be an LOS. And I know, like, I didn't know that Kayla had one, but I suspected one. I suspected because she was so fast on the math, and I suspected Ransom had because he was fast on the math. So that could give you an indication. If people are fast doing the math or whatever puzzle, whatever it is, it means like they are quick on their feet. So it's like, okay, so I need to make sure that one of them plays the LOS on Kayla. If I had seen Renzo before Kayla, I would have told him, play your LOS on Kayla. But thankfully, will you have done it, Renzo? Will you have played on Kayla?
No, absolutely.
And I would not have expected you to.
But at that point, I was like, okay, this is the only way that we could make it to the end, because the Christian, Ashley, Sarah were too close. So I thought Travis was very likable, and he was very dreamy too. And I was like, okay, maybe it's just 2 by 1. We get him out. We protect Kayla. So let's do it.
Yeah, at that point, Travis was the person I was least connected with in the cast. So it wasn't really something personal. And it's a history, don't repeat itself. So it's kind of difficult to target somebody who got votes already on their side. And at this point, the initial clash between the two big, my initial starting room and Ashley were starting to clash. I'm just trying to like make them work together and target somebody who's probably not as tied to both alliances. And Travis made sense.
That's when I had to compromise because I did not want to vote for Travis, but you convinced me to change my ways.
I was extremely nervous going into this round because I knew my name has not really been out there. So I was a name that like other people could be like, yeah, I haven't voted for him. So like we could do that. And what I thought hurt me was like the people I was closest with had just been eliminated. Like Lauren, I was really working really close with, and like C was gone, and Luz was gone. Like Goldie, who was my ride or die, was like the last one there that like I could like know 100% wouldn't go for me, and history can't repeat. So I was very nervous. But like that round, I thought I put a lot of work with Ashley to get the vote to Kayla, and it almost worked. Like I couldn't vote for you myself, but I was like, yeah, we like the rest of you guys, please vote Kayla. Like that's the way to go. And then I get eliminated while in the restroom.
Always the worst way to go.
I just like to say we're matching again. Nickelodeon t-shirts.
Yes,
Second time in a row. We did not plan that.
Yeah, I want to try to like Travis. Once I saw them, like I feel so bad for Travis now. Being in that room was brutal to see, man. Honestly.
Yeah.
Well, hi everyone.
Yeah, but Travis, you have to know, like, I really thought that you would, if you continue moving forward, people will like not look at you as a target, and you can easily reach like Final 4 and Final 2. So I was like, this is like the best time for him to go as well, because you have a great story at the end.
I mean, I'll take that as a compliment. I appreciate that. Like, I was looked at that much of a threat. I just tried to make as many bonds as I could, like in every round, and hope that stuck. I did know like Humby. I knew like we were good. Like our interaction was good, but like I'm just like, damn, Humby's not with me. So I was very scared of that. And
it's definitely a compliment, by the way. Definitely a compliment to you.
Yeah, and that's actually why, going way back to the when I said I voted for you, the that Hinky vote. I just wanted your name out there. Like no one was saying your name, and I'm just like, because I wasn't in many rooms with you, so it's not like they weren't saying your name because you were there. You weren't there. No one was saying your name, and I really wanted people to start like you being in the spotlight. So
I mean, I won't try to lie. I threw a Hinky vote at Humby too.
I did
too. Because I'm like, no one is saying his name. Yeah, I mean, like no one is saying his name. I'm good with Travis. Like in this game, like I have a lot of allies. I don't need Humby, so let me just throw out a vote on him. And like one of my allies will do my dirty work for me. So
bitches, you all bitches.
I did too.
I was like, I'm not going home when Ryan went. I was like, nope, not me. I threw a vote on you too, Humby. I love you.
I would say though, I kind of heard Humby's name like pre-jury.
No, Chris, you did not.
I did. It was when the round Ryan got out. I was like, I'm not going home.
It's okay, Humby. He voted for me too.
I voted for Goldie multiple times. I feel bad.
I never voted for Goldie. Never voted for.
Neither did I.
I never voted for either of you. I don't think I voted for Jess. I know I didn't vote for Christian.
I will say, Travis, I feel like your storyline in all of this was very interesting, going from, the last time a first boot to now going out in a round where essentially you were playing too good of a game that nobody had voted for you. Like, you got all the votes in round one because of, a video pretty much the last time, and now you played such a good game that you were eliminated because you were a threat. It's a good arc to have, I would say.
Yeah, I'm very proud of the game I played. After 619, I was just like itching to come back so badly, and I think I got a little lucky that I was the first boot that people didn't really clock me as a returnee or anything.
I said I knew you were a returner because I saw that, but once I saw you in there, I'm like, I want to work with him because in your video and things like that, I'm like, he's someone who I like a lot, and you did really well because you made allies really quickly. Your pitches were probably one of the best. So I'm listening to him, I like him a lot. He's good. He's relating in a lot of different ways, and it's kind of thing where it's like, what, picking you out and then never have I voted around? No, but at the same time, I'll probably try to do it later in there because he's a good player to keep. But I'm not winning against this guy.
Thanks. That means a lot. And I'm excited to just keep doing this again. I made a big improvement from last time, but I can be better, and that's my goal. In all this, and you guys are very great. If even if I play a good game, like Humby, Kayla, Ashley, Chris, all of you were so excellent and such good competition to go against.
And
for the record, I'm sorry, Louie.
No, go ahead.
For the record, Travis, I didn't vote you this round.
Neither
I didn't vote for you either.
Well, not a lot of people did it. LOS got me out.
Renzo, did you vote for Travis? I need to know.
did. I was
Okay.
competing for him. I tried making Goldie vote for Travis as well, but that wasn't successful.
No, I was never ever going to vote for Travis.
Goldie,
ever.
Goldie, I thought you worked with us at some point. Were you?
I wanted to work with you, Humby, because Felipe told me to work with you, and then you told me after that you were trying to get me out, and that Felipe told me.
I saw you as somebody that was working with different groups, which was very beneficial for us because we were the smaller number alliance. So, okay, this is beneficial. But when the numbers started to shrinking down, I was like, okay, it's either her or us. That's why it was you. I wish Felipe would have told me to work with you because I love Felipe and I would have done it for him. But I at some points, I saw you our fourth. I thought you really liked working with us. Maybe if I didn't say Travis and it was somebody else, you would have stayed with us. And I didn't know that you and Travis had that connection.
Well, why would I get cast with my friends both times? That'd be weird.
I won't try to lie. I did vote Kayla here because I'm I liked working with you two, but at the same time, I have other allies here, and Travis, I liked a lot. I heard the name Travis. I'm not voting for this guy. I don't care. I can't vote for this guy.
I feel like we didn't get more connected till later, so I ain't mad.
Yeah.
Was it a 6-3? I'm pretty sure it was a 6-3.
Probably we need those.
I voted for Kayla. She was
I voted for Kayla.
I voted for Kayla.
Yeah, 6-3.
I think going into this round, especially for me, because when I played the people of color mini, this is the round I got out in. I knew I was going to be really in trouble because I had not heard my name at all whatsoever. So I think being in a starting room this round with people that I trusted, Jess was there, Ashley was there. I was like, let's get a name out there. Let's pray to God it's not for me because I'm not going out this round again. And last time I was in a room by myself, and that's how my name got out there. So I was very fortunate to be in a starting round with other people. It helps being in a starting round with other people, especially this round.
It really does. It's something that you have to like. It's hard. You could be at such a disadvantage just based upon the fact that you start a round by yourself. Like your fate can be sealed just in that 10 seconds trying to get into a room with people if there's a whole bunch of people in another room, which is something to definitely, I feel like it's not thought about a lot, but it's something that needs to be considered, is trying to stay in a room if you know a round is coming to an end. Trav, I feel like we are going to be seeing you again soon in the aforementioned mini that was just talked about, correct?
Yes, I am participating in 5'8" versus 6'19". Very excited for that. And I'm also in another private, with that cast hasn't come out, so I don't think I can say it, but it's like you'll see me a couple times in the next month.
So much content. You're giving us so much content. We're excited. Thank you for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. All right, so that brought us to the next round, which was the tether round. Now, the tethers were, well, before that, Goldie, confirm for me, because I said this last night, but I wasn't 100% sure. When we played together in the emo mini, was this the same round you went home on?
Same round, and also second juror.
Oh, no.
Thanks, guys.
Sorry.
Oh, it's hilarious. I don't care.
Yeah, so the tethers were Jess and Goldie, Chris and Christian, Humby and Ashley, Renzo and Kayla. And there was another successful LOS play by Kayla. At the time I put Kayla ? But it's very apparent now. They were all by Kayla. How did we get to, so my favorite moment from this round was the Kayla and Ashley talking about, Ashley saying that Kayla she wanted to vote for her. And Humby, you were absolutely said, that's not going to happen. It was just like right from the start, that was absolutely not going to happen. How did we end up getting to the point where Goldie ended up going home?
I mean, I think it's pretty clear. An LOS was played.
No, I'm pretty sure it was 2-2. I don't think it was 3-1. Because I think Ashley voted with me, Renzo, and Kayla.
I did.
Yeah, it wasn't just the LOS. It was 2-2.
It was 2-2.
I love it.
Okay, that's interesting.
Because what happened was, I when I saw them all fighting, Kayla and Ashley and Humby, I was like, these are the people I was closely working with in the game. They have to stay connected. I don't want them to fight. So I was just like, Kayla, Ashley, stop. You need each other to final six. Like without each other, both of you will be a gunner or something. So I was like, let's just vote anybody who's not in this 4. And I think that's when Humby proposed a final 4 among the 4 of us. And then Humby just said Goldie. And that was so bad for me because I was just in the room before that with Goldie, making a final 2 deal with her.
No, and I'm gonna say this was a mistake. I think this was my mistake on the game. I think I have this mistake, and it was this. I needed to find it to not be Goldie. I knew that Chris, Christian, Jess, and Ashley were a 4. I knew if we needed something, it was gonna be Goldie. But the problem is that Ashley came from a room that they decided was gonna be Kayla. And I was not having Kayla going home. So I told Ashley, it cannot be Kayla. And I think I was too aggressive there. And Ashley was like, okay, if you're not letting me be Kayla, it better be somebody that I can do. And I was like, okay, it's not going to be Jess, it's not going to be Chris, it's not going to be Christian. The only person that she will do is going to be Goldie. But I should have been smarter because I knew, like, I should have known, okay, if it's Gold is going to be out, there's no way that it's going to be us against them 4. We're gonna be screwed. And no, the only screwed one was me, but I should have found a way to not let it be Goldie. But
this
was
was
I think you probably should have voted for Kayla. But no offense, you were amazing. Like, yes.
I thought this part was sorry.
In hindsight, looking back at it, we probably should have out on because I feel like Kayla, like in my gut feeling, like Kayla has to have an LOS, right? Like Kayla has to have something here.
I never even considered it. Every time I used it, I never considered it the next round.
I thought about it, but at the same time, like if Ashley and Chris are doing my dirty work, and if they're like going for Kayla hard, I guess I go for Kayla here. But I'm like, there's no way she doesn't have like LOS. She already had one already. I mean, she's like, I wanted Humby because like the throwaway vote. Like I voted for him like, in this game, so I'm like, I know mine has been out because once he's out, then Kayla's on her own, and it's like I can figure out then. So for me, I'm like, one at Humby, but I end up voting Kayla here just because I'm like, that's what the majority of votes go. And as long as it's not me, who cares?
I think this is the part when I PM'd Audrey while voting for Kayla. I was like, if she finds another LOS, I'm rioting.
This was funny to me because Renzo and I were so close, and then that was when I realized that even though we were so close, we had been working with different people a lot of the time, and it's like we finally have to come together and like merge our sides, and I was totally for it. I did not care that you said my name, Ashley. I'm like, whatever, like let's just go together now. Like we were both aggressive, and I liked it, and so it worked for that round, and then I wish it could have kept working, but then we just like came for each other.
This was also my downfall in my last game because I made a super huge rival out of Zach and I could not let it go. And that was really what led to me being wheeled out. And I wish that's one of the things, big mistake that I made in that game, that I wasn't adaptable. And so like after that history can't repeat itself round, I was like, okay, I know that I like for my alliance wise, I need to get Kayla out, but what if this is an opportunity that I should be adaptable? And so that's why I was like, okay, I really thought that Humby was with me. I didn't know until this round that he was more with Kayla because I had been trying to protect him and we had been working together and I thought we were saying the same names. So I didn't really see you even on another side. And so this round I was completely misted by Humby and I was like, what? I did not see that coming. So that was like total, I was just a fish out of water, floundering around. I did not know I was expecting that. And I really honestly didn't think that whenever we solidified a 4, that we meant further. I thought we were talking about this round. We were all going to vote for Goldie. I didn't put the 2 together that we were going to work further because still like I wanted to work with you and I was going to do that this round. But then once next round happened and I heard that twist, I was like, okay, well, it should be.
But did you know that you were in the
too.
middle? Did you know that you were in the middle when Goldie was out? Did you know that you were gonna be the deciding? Well,
like
it didn't.
Split vote.
Yeah, it didn't end up like that.
I was trying to be loyal. I was trying to say, okay, we have 2 people in this room right now. If I can't get, I didn't know that I would be able to have the majority on Kayla. If I felt like if I couldn't get Humby to vote with me, then I wouldn't have the majority. So I needed to be adaptable there and be like, okay, if I'm not going to be able to get her out this round, then say a name. Who else do you want to do? Okay, Goldie. All right. She was on the peripheral of people I was trying to protect. So I said, okay.
But were you thinking on going back to Chris, Christian, and Jess on the next round after that already?
Yeah, absolutely.
Actually,
I did not know that when we said when I said what for, I thought we were talking about that round. I didn't know that we were saying like alliance moving forward,
like a voting block. But
I mean, we needed you. We needed you so hard.
You came through, girl. You came through.
I should have. The thing that got me with Zach is that I couldn't let it go, and that was basically the same thing that happened. I had an opportunity to have heard that there and to been like, okay, let's actually us 4. But I just felt like my connections with Chris and Jess and Christian and what I thought was Renzo was stronger on that side. So I thought, let's keep going for Kayla and then let's get Humby. That was what my plan was.
Yeah, makes sense.
For the record, Ashley, I actually really wanted to work with you.
I know. I tried Goldie, but Kayla. Yeah.
Well, all props to Kayla.
Actually, what's funny about the last few rounds, I told Goldie this in the chat, but I wasn't trusting of Goldie at all at that point because we hadn't got together in a lot of rounds. So I'm like, I don't know if I can trust her. I thought she threw my name out a few rounds ago. I don't know why I thought that. I just did. So actually, I have in my notes for that round, I need to go for Goldie. I need to get Goldie out.
Oh, wow.
So I was trying to. And then Goldie was my tether. I'm like, okay, so how can I maneuver this? But then I was in the room with Chris and Christian, and they were saying we should go for Kayla, and I thought that was the majority vote.
Yeah.
But I was trying to find Goldie to see, okay, if I can get together with Goldie and see where her head is at, that will determine which way I go. Either I vote with Goldie or without Goldie. And it just so happened that I decided to go with Goldie. I wanted to put a little bit of trust, and then it didn't work out anyway. So, but I would have gone to get out Goldie too, if I had known that that was another plan.
To be perfectly honest, Jess, not only did I never say your name, I think I forgot you were there.
Wow. Damn.
Not like that. I don't mean that like in a negative way at all. Obviously, I was like totally invisible both my first time and this time at all. Like we were never in the same room. And
I know.
I have like I forgot Chris was there at points too. It's not like you weren't playing well. It's I wasn't in the same room as you.
Oh no, I
recognize
absolutely was not playing well. How did I get to final five?
good.
I have no idea.
You played so well.
You played a good game.
The only
Never
person I
discredit
had,
yourself.
the only person I had complete trust in was Ashley. Everybody else, I was like I kind of had a little
That
bit
was
of
the
trust
right
in
person
Chris.
to
I
have
never
trust in.
betrayed you. I
But
never
I
voted
know.
for you.
And I
so-
know, and that I actually heard from somebody that somebody was protecting me. I found out later that it was you, and I was like,
told you that.
okay, I'm glad that I put that trust in you. So.
I mean, that is very important to know who to trust. And in last night game, to trust Ashley was the right person to trust because she.
Yeah.
I was
I
a
just
force
felt
to
like
be reckoned with.
if I didn't feel that and I wasn't working with you, then I felt like you were against me, and then I was able to try to get you voted out. So it was just that Kayla was that I felt like I had more of a connection with Humby than I had with Kayla, which is why I went for her first. That was going to be my. I was trying to get Kayla out, so then I was hoping that the boys would then go for each other, and that was going to push me further. That's what I was. That was what my game plan was.
I mean, I wasn't voting for Chris no matter what.
I
so I don't understand the
wasn't voting for Chris. I can tell you when Christian's video came up at the beginning, I put yes in all caps next to his name. I was so excited. Same for Renzo because we all played POC together, so I was really excited.
Once Audrey like messages me like, "Oh, your Twitter twist is like Chris," I'm like, "Of course it is. It makes sense." And once me and him had the final that final room, like about damn time we've had this moment and waiting for
it only took us 3/4 of the game, but
also like something I would like to say is like this game I looked at, I'm like I played much more of a passive and quiet game this time around than PLC, just because I felt like you all for the most part knew who I was, and if I played an aggressive game early on, you all probably would have voted me out early. I'm like, I have allies, I have people to play with. Like clearly, actually, like me and her was close by. I'm like, if I like Renzo was close with, Chris was close with, Jess. Like I'm like clearly I have allies here, so I was like, if people are gonna do my dirty work for me and don't hear my name, unlike PLC, where it's like my name was thrown out there left and right, I'm just gonna enjoy this wave. In hindsight, with this move, I should have pulled Jess and Goldie aside and say, hey, let's free work together and get Humby or Renzo out. Like, hey, yes, there's moves that which I look at, I'm like, I could have done this, and we'll talk about it. Like, could have done that, but it's like to go from like a 180 game and to as far as I did, I can't have any regrets about it. I was supposed to retire on Wednesday, so
you shouldn't.
So glad you're still here. So glad you're still
here. I have one last to say. At this point in the game, I really thought that I had a big chance to win. Because I was kind of working with everybody. I was working with Humby and Kayla. I was working with Ashley. I thought I was working with Jess, and I had the POC mini connection with Christian and Chris, and I just made a battle with Goldie. I was like, I had this. So I was just like trying to lay low and trying to build my resume.
I thought I was working with you too,
and immediately cut me. So like, I don't know.
Goldie, I'm working with everybody in this group. I really had like a strong connection with everybody.
Oh, I'm not like insulted, and I totally know and appreciate your gameplay or whatever. But like, I might have just been like, nah, I'm voting for the girl or something.
Also, like to Kirby saying you're playing to entertain, like, no, I'm not playing to win the freaking game. And if it means playing a quiet, boring game to make it to a final, I don't care. I came to win. And it's like, if I had to play a 180 game, that's come on. I don't care.
Yeah, I definitely want to go into your game, Christian, and kind of dissect it a little bit and discuss how you played, because you definitely played well, and I was surprised how you played, and that's what I want to discuss. But just to finish up this round, Goldie, it was great to see you again. I was very happy when you came up on the screen, and it made sense. I think I missed it last night. Reno sent that you guys were the emo cast was having like a group Zoom, and I was like, why? And then it made sense when you popped up on the screen. So what were your thoughts on the second game, and are you thinking you're going to come back for a third?
I was actually asked to be on that Zoom call, so I don't think it was related.
Oh, I thought they were all watching you.
I didn't tell anybody except for like a couple people. Like I wasn't sure if I was allowed to tell people I was in this. Anyway, I tried to play differently this time, and it didn't really work out, and the exact same result happened. So, I mean, I don't really know about playing again. You know, it's a big time commitment. It's not that I didn't have fun and everything. It was super great. I loved meeting every single one of you. You all played great games. Kayla, congratulations. Chris, Jess, you were better than you give yourself credit for. Ashley, you were so fucking good. So were you, Renzo. So were you, Kristen. Like, everybody was great. I'm not sure that I have, like, the time commitment to go and then get second juror and be called boring a lot again, which is, like, fine. I just, like, don't have time. I don't know. So maybe. We'll see. Whatever.
Fingers crossed. I hope to see you again. I always like the slightly off-center Goldie. How you're slightly off-center on the camera. It always makes me happy. Anytime we popped into a room together and you were slightly, I'm like, you're askew. I should tell you you're askew.
There's 2 monitors here, so it's like
Thank
a little
you.
bit of an issue.
Thank you for coming on.
No problem. Bye.
Bye. All right, so let's get into the final 7, which was the bounty round. And I feel like the last round kind of led into it. And I feel like from here on out, it was just kind of complete chaos as we got to the end, which I firmly enjoyed. It was peak entertainment, these next few rounds. This was the round that ended in Ashley's elimination, of course, after another successful LOS by Kayla. Let's discuss what happened here. There's a lot to talk about, but y'all can do it for me. How did we get to that point?
Okay, so if I may, I had Kayla as my bounty, and I was in the starting room with Jess, and I was like, "Sis has played 2 LOSs already. Can we just get her gone?" And
I will say, Chris, one of my favorite lines was like, Audrey's just going to put up another LOS and she's just going to get it again.
I was hammered at that point in time. I
was tipsy at that point. So
after that,
wait, Chris, Kayla was your bounty?
Kayla was my bounty.
Kayla was my bounty too. She messaged me that. Audrey messaged me Kayla was my Kayla was my bounty. She messaged me that. So funny you say that.
Well, I do want to say, like, there was a point where there were the 6 of us except Renzo in that room, and nobody wanted to say a name. And then I don't know who it was. It's like, Renzo? And
that was me.
And everybody got like, I mean, maybe. And Renzo was my bounty, and I should have pushed that because I was so sure that he was gonna stick with me and Kayla. I was like, no, because at 6, we at least can make it to the wheel. So no, not Renzo. Because if we leave Renzo, it's gonna be 4 versus 2. With a 3-3, at least we have a chance.
I could not have voted for Renzo. I couldn't do it.
Yeah, and I was late. I even said I'm fashionably late because I think I entered 2 empty rooms before going into this room. I was like, and I did not even, because at that point I was too confident. Maybe that was my demise. I really thought that I have strong bonds with everybody left. My name was not gonna be brought up until Christian did, and then Christian did. It was like, good thing it did not gain traction. And then I think what happened next was just everybody was wanting Kayla out. But
yeah, I think it was like 4-3, very, very straightforward. We were trying to get Ashley with us, but that wasn't going to happen.
Yeah, I was like,
it
what
was a
for?
4-3 with an LOS. Yeah,
I was
straightforward.
If Kayla was my bounty,
too far gone, and I was like, okay, well, I made a mistake there. I guess I just got to keep going with Kayla. It's gone too far. I've made my line in the sand. I just had to try to go for it.
Yeah, I won't try to lie. As soon as I saw Kayla with my bounty, I'm like, I'm gonna lie my ass off here, but I kind of want her out because I want safety here, like the next round, because I thought we'd be in trouble. Like once like Renzo was in the room, I probably shouldn't push that hard because I'm like, he's not in the room, and I kind of want him out here because I'm not beating him in the final. So and he's just trying to throw that name out there, but no one else was like going with it. So I'm like, are you guys with him or against him? Like, are we this? Okay, I guess we'll go after Kayla because she already played 2 LOSs. It's like either her or Renzo. I don't care who.
I was hell bent. I wasn't changing anything. I was
That's
like,
what I knew.
I
I knew you. Yeah. I'm like, there's no way I'm convincing Chris otherwise to vote for.
I was jealous of Humby's loyalty to Kayla whenever he was like, no, we're not doing that last round. I was like, but why not me? But this is what I want you to do. Come on, please. And he didn't do it. He stayed strong, and that's why I got out.
Yeah, and that's why as soon as we all jumped into that room together, because we weren't wasn't in that room originally. So as soon as we all jumped into the room together, that's why I was the first one to speak up, because nobody was saying the name Kayla.
No.
And I figured, you know what? I mean, we just talked about this. She
I
was
knew
a
it.
target the last 2 rounds, 3 rounds. Like, I was hearing her name from jury because of Ashley. So I was like, well, we gotta address the elephant in the room, which is Kayla being a big target. And that's why I jumped in there, not necessarily because I wanted Kayla out, but just because it was the name that was going around. And I also knew that you weren't on my side. So
I think at the point where we all got into the room together, all 7 of us, I remember almost shitting myself because I'm like, okay, well,
It's about to go down.
It's about to go down. Let me. I low-key just wanted to like put myself on mute and just let y'all go at it.
Christian, I feel like this is when I tried to prove my loyalty to you, because I'm like, you're my bounty, but I'm not going for you.
Was I really your bounty? Just out of curiosity?
Yes, yes.
I was trying, like, after you did that, it's like kind of one thing where it's like, clearly you're the biggest threat in this game. At the same time, I felt like I was a big target too. So I'm like, I can work with her for the time being. Like, also, I'm like, if she played 2 OSs, she must know the system and she must have got another one. So I'm like, can we go after Renzo, please? Can we please take Renzo out? I don't think he has the LOS. I mean, you had an LOS, but you wasn't going to play it because everyone was going after Kayla. So I'm like, we're in a room and you're not there. So let's just take Renzo out now and we'll battle out in the final session.
Ashley, who did John?
Humby was my bounty, and I was not going to do it. I really wanted to try to sway him over here. So
I wanted to sway you over here.
It could have been. I just.
Ashley. Okay, so I want for you to enjoy it, because you were a force last night. You were it in regards of like strategy, and you were the leader of the biggest alliance. I want for you to enjoy, which I believe it was a little villainous game, but own it. Like you were it, girl. Like the fact that you were a little villain and a little like conspicuous doesn't mean that in real life you aren't the sweetest person in the world, which I'm sure you are. But I want for you to enjoy like
Trust
the sneakiness.
me, in the game while I was playing it, most fun I've ever had in my life. Having to account for the things that I did to actual real people not in a game, hardest thing I've ever done.
That's on them. That's on them.
I have almost cried coming into this. It's just a different thing. This isn't a game.
I don't feel like anything you did.
If anybody's mad at you because of one of your moves, that's on them. That's not on you, babe.
No, they have every right to their feeling. It's hard for me to know that I hurt people.
In
the game, it was fun. Talking here, it's harder.
I'll say this: as someone who played a film game before, I loved your game. I love working with you. I loved everything you do. You played a perfect freaking game. And like, was it villainous? Yeah, but like, as someone who was working with you and was like a loyal to you, I'm like, I kind of want to play aggressive. I'm like, I'm kind of loving what she's doing because she's playing to what she needs to do, and it's kind of thing where it's like, this is just a game. Like outside of this, I love you all. Like you guys are great. Like this. In-game,
I loved every second of it. I loved throwing out people's names and then not doing it. I loved every second of it. I was in a room by myself showing Charlie's document that I printed out, being like, I'm trying to do these things. And he's probably so proud right now. Yeah. I loved every second of it, but it's just hard to like now talk to people and be like, I'm so sorry that I did that. I didn't mean to tank your game to get myself further. It's just kind of weird.
You don't need to apologize for it all. Like own it. Like you did a fucking amazing job. Like congratulations. I mean,
and I can actually speak on that because after the game ended and I turned on my phone and I just wanted to see what people had to say and reading back some of the tweets, and it was just like I didn't expect having a lot of fans. I expected having some fans. I didn't expect a lot of not really nice comments to say, and I understand it because a lot of people were watching. People were judging you based playing off of a game, and I was heavily intoxicated, and so I understand it. But reading back some of the comments, it did boost my ego for a little bit, and I was very. I wasn't really so much hard on myself. I was more upset at the fact of like, well, if I didn't please this person, I'm not going to please the next person, but it's okay because I can't please everybody. And I finally came to terms with it. I woke up at 8 o'clock this morning and I had me a big ass cinnamon bun for breakfast, and I was okay.
Yeah.
I'm about to say everyone's a critic. Chris, you made it to the final 2. Ashley, you made it to the final 7. Over 500 people played it. Not that many people.
I didn't make jury last game, so I was happy. I was gonna play my heart out until it ended.
I have to divert a little bit. I have to explain why I turned on Ashley because I told you I'm going to explain it now. At that point, I cannot have you both, Kayla, at final 6 or final 5 because there will be like 2 perceived strong players in the game. And in all honesty, at that point, I thought that you were playing a better game than Kayla. So if and at that point, I want to like also very highlight Kayla's game so that people will perceive her as the biggest threat. And at that point, I don't have to do that with you because everybody knows, especially you're friends with almost everybody remaining. So I wouldn't want you to be moving further along the game because my boundary back then was Jess. I could have probably asked Humby and I don't know if you're gonna do Jess at that round. Because you can stay at like the loyal 4, but I think at the final moments of that round, it's like Ashley. Because yeah,
I think we should have tried to find out the bounties a little bit more because the fact that Ashley was just bounty and we ended up doing Ashley.
Here's the thing about that. I said that right at the beginning.
No, you did say it, but I mean, like, we should have like paid more attention to it, and,
which
like,
is why I
think
stayed
about
silent after that.
Strategically, because the fact that Jess was safe on 6 screw us over, like screw me over.
Yeah, it for you for sure.
Yeah, because I in my mind, okay, Chris and Christian are not gonna turn on each other, but maybe they will turn on Jess. So
I wasn't turning on Jess.
I wasn't turning on Jess at all.
Yeah, no.
I loved.
Yes.
We'll talk about next round. I should have went to a will for Jess.
Yes,
but that's
I was so loyal to, especially after doing both KP and Jason dirty early on. I was so loyal to Rune 5.
Oh.
So loyal.
I really did stay loyal to Chris and Ashley, so.
So Ashley, that is my reasoning. I really love you.
Oh yeah, there is absolutely no hard feelings. Trust me, I gave it, so I have to get it. And what I'll say is, like, Kayla, I think you played an amazing game. I was happy that I got to like ask you those questions and stuff, and you to explain it to me in jury. But like, what I knew was that I tried to get you out 3 times, and I couldn't do it. And I got, and the best woman won, and I did vote for you. So I want to say congratulations, and I love everybody in this cast, and I hope there's not any hard feelings. And I don't know how I'll ever be able to play again since I've played so villainous.
I was gonna say, I feel like, well, I mean, let's just say it, Ashley. I think you played an incredible game, and I don't think for a second you need to feel it's like it is a game, right? And you made yourself, like, we remembered you from the last mini, but honestly, we remembered you mostly because of your awesome makeup, right? So, like, I feel like this time around, like, you made yourself like, people will remember the game that you played because it was really, really impressive, and it was really, really good, and you showed what a grasp you had and what a grasp you probably gained over like watching all these minis and being a part of the community over the last few months. And I think it was stellar, and it was one of the standout highlights of the game. So I don't think for a second
there's not a whole lot that I would change about it. I enjoyed my messiness. I really enjoyed the game that I played last night, and I think that was pretty evident. I tried to give it all and play my heart out, and it's just hard having to talk about it all now and be like, oh, I did do that, and that was a really snaky move, and I'm sorry.
No one's mad at you.
No one held it against you.
Do not apologize. You did amazingly.
Actually, I would have been in this cast if it wasn't for you, so I have all the
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, I wouldn't have lasted as long as I did in this game without you, so for sure.
Thank you for coming on, Ashley. I appreciate it. All right, so that brings us to the final 6. and the elimination of the great Humby. So this is a round that I have questions about, because I wasn't sure how the vote actually broke down, because it seemed like it was going to be 3-3. And I wasn't sure if it was, I wasn't sure if it was either somebody turned or, because there was no name that was coming out on your side. It felt like a name didn't come out till the very last second. And
I said Christian at the very last, 10
Yeah.
seconds.
I just thought maybe they didn't hear it.
I'm pretty sure I was screaming over you at that point.
Renzo, did you turn? Was it you, Renzo?
I did.
Yeah, did you guys
Renzo.
not hear him? And I guess there was a lot of yelling, but in the middle of all the yelling, Renzo asked me, who do I vote for? And I said, Humby, vote Humby. So I think that's why he voted Humby.
I shed lots of tears this round.
I know.
Once I heard you say like me or Chris, I'm like, okay, I'm getting this guy the hell out of here.
I know. I mean, I feel like at that point, Kayla, everybody was so scared of Kayla having an LOS, so she was a non-starter. Everybody loved Renzo. Jess had safety, so it had to be one of you two. And I was so sure for a while that Renzo wasn't gonna turn on me. I was like, okay, it's gonna be a 3-3. It's gonna be a 3-3. It's gonna be a 3-3, and it wasn't. It's fine, baby. Fine.
My thought process here was that Renzo, Humberto, and me were together, and Jess and she were safe. It would be a good idea to come with us and vote one of the others. So that was where I was operating, but obviously that did not happen.
Thanks for that, Jess.
You have to know that Chris and I are still connected with the POC Mini. So even if I haven't talked to them, I know that I have that connection. Plus, I'm now looking at what would be my best pathway to Final 2. And the only way that I will be able to do that is if I have Kayla on the Final 4 as the biggest target, and who do I want to sit with at the Final 2? If it's Humby, I'm not sure I'm gonna get the votes. If it's either
you were beating anybody, Renzo. You were going to beat anybody.
Renzo, if you made finals, you were winning.
Yes,
Yeah, you were
100%.
winning if you made it final, so
yeah.
Over anybody. You were going to win no matter what.
I was just probably.
I don't know about Kayla.
Then
I think Kayla beats Renzo in the final too. I'll be honest there.
We would have had to battle it out for sure.
It would have been very, very, very close. Yeah. And nobody's a bigger fan of Kayla than I am, as I show, but it would have been very close. It was.
I mean, we'll get there.
But at that point, Humby, I love you so much. I really think that you are amazing. But I have to think of what would be the best way for me to Final 2.
I want to
it made sense for you. And I feel like you thought that I was more with Kayla than with you. But I was with both of you like hardcore, because I also thought that I was okay, I'm playing well. I have a chance to win. But I cannot make it to the end without Kayla, because she's the easy, she had to be the easiest vote on Final 4 that I have seen in 8 minis. So I was like, okay, if Kayla stays until 4, she's not gonna drag me ever. I win this game. So I at that point in the Final 6, I care more about saving Kayla than saving myself, because I couldn't see myself winning without Kayla at 4. So I was like, okay, it has to be Kayla 4 so I can win this. But I should have been a little more survival mode than just two ahead.
One more thing for me is I think at that point, Jess was my ideal Final 2. So I wanted to get Jess's trust. And I was like, give me any name to vote out. If Jess said Christian, I would have probably voted Christian. Or if Jess had said Chris, I would have probably voted Chris, because I wanted Jess to be with me in the Final 2.
I won't try to lie. Humby, the point you made about Renzo and Kayla is why I wanted you out for a long ass time. I knew that you and Renzo and you had a lot of people allies. That's why I threw a vote on you and made you a target. I'm like, I'm gonna make him a target early, and when it's down to the final 7 or final 6, I can get him out, because I think people are gonna realize that he's good with Renzo, he's good with Kayla. I'll figure out once I get to 5, but I need this guy out because he's been playing in the middle for too long. And you played an amazing game. I think if you get to you have a case. At the same time, I don't want to find that out.
I'm sorry I was your downfall. I'm sorry.
No. One, I was super happy that you won. And 2, I mean, I was also being selfish because I couldn't make it to the end without you on 4 or 5, at least in my opinion. So I had to die with you.
I wanted to go with you.
I know.
See, like at Final Four, the both of you are just gonna go with each other, and I'm gonna be at the bottom of the totem pole.
I wouldn't have
No.
turned on you either, Renzo.
I would have turned on the other person, whether it was Christian, Chris, or Jazz, and let them decide who of the three of us. Actually, no, I was gonna turn on Kayla.
And that's why we love you, Humby. I'm gonna say it. I'm gonna say
root too much for you, but I had to at that point. I had to a 4. If I made it to 4, I had to, honey.
We're fighting. We're fighting. I don't want to hear it. No, I'm kidding. You're all good. I still love you.
I love you more.
I was gonna say I do think, like, you know, you watch these patron minis and occasionally you just see something in someone, and you do it with like Survivor, Big Brother, anything where you can see like a star is born. I honestly believe, Humby, that you are going to be a star in this community. Like, you have everything about it. Like, not just like the strategic side, but you're just hilarious. You're a character. You're hilarious to watch. It's so much fun. Like, even in this, it's been so much fun. I'm so excited. I mean, I have very little doubt you will not be in one of these all-stars in the next few months. Like, I would bet a large amount of money that you're going to be cast in one of them, just because you're a lot of fun.
Oh, that's very sweet of you to say. It's very overwhelming, but thank you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Making this mini so much exciting and much more fun.
And I feel so bad for targeting you, Humby, but I think at that point I knew you weren't with me at all.
Yeah,
and I
it
didn't
makes
know
sense.
your game. I actually didn't figure out how big of a player you were until after the game ended. I had no idea. So when I
We
was
didn't see
targeting
each
you,
other much.
yeah, when I was targeting you, it just happened like I just thought Kayla was a little bit more supportive of me, and maybe I could get her a couple of rounds down. And I was like, you weren't really giving me anything, and you left me out of the 4, and I'm like, well, I know I'm not part of the 4, so I'm part of the 3 that's going to be out, so might as well target him. But I honestly now I'm really I'm sad that I got you out, but also really happy because I'm like I made that happen.
Yes, you did, honey.
So at least in this game, that's the one move that I can say that I did. So
yes, you did.
Yeah, I was gonna say, Humby, I loved your game, like your video, everything like that. And it's like, again, I saw your game because me and you were interacting with each other a lot. I'm like, great, he's a big target. I love it. I want to work with him. That's music to my ears. And it's like, I wish, like, it was fun seeing you play. Like, you are all-star as far as I'm concerned. Like, you played a freaking amazing game, man. Like, nothing but respect to you.
Thank you guys so much. I had a really good time, and looking forward to do it again.
You're wonderful. I think on my end, I'll talk about it a little bit more later, but I have nothing but love and respect for you, Humby. You're a blessing.
yeah, I can't wait to
beer.
watch back. I can't wait to watch your game back specifically. So
And I'm still holding you to that beer, by the way.
Oh, your beer.
Thanks for coming on, Humby.
Bye,
I know we'll
guys.
see you soon. Bye. All right, so that brings us down to the final 5. And to start the final 5, Christian and Chris were both safe, which I feel like was very needed in that situation. You were in just a bit of danger there.
Yeah, they were saying I still targeted Chris.
Yeah, I'm like, you said me and Chris. They were like, what are you doing here?
I was feeling myself at this moment in time when Renzo was like, I want to target Chris. And I said, well.
I'm like, Renzo, I'm not going anywhere here.
Yeah, this was a vote. I didn't expect the vote to go this way, and we'll talk about it a little bit, but I did not expect you, Christian, to vote the way you did and take out Jess. So yeah, let's discuss how we got to that.
I was wondering who did that.
It was not me. It was not me.
In hindsight, like looking back at it, I should have went to a wheel. I regret.
Yeah, I was the perfect final 2 goat for you people. You could have gotten Kayla out.
I should. Kayla had a LOS, right? Like, did she?
No, that was final 5. There was
LOS
no LOS play. You could have gotten her out. It was a tie.
I was shocked. I survived this. Shocked, and
It was a tie.
Can we still get LOS at this time?
No, I gave Kayla the speech of my whole entire existence. I was like, sis, I love you. But I have to Kelly Wentworth you. And
game respects game.
Game respects game, and Audrey said that vote tied, and I was like,
listen, I was an idiot that round. I voted for Renzo because I thought, hey, he's a really big threat to win. Why not get him out? And nobody went with it. So I'm like, okay, I'll vote Kayla. Chris and Christian will vote Kayla, and then I'm in Final Four.
It's the smartest move, honestly. The reason why I kept Kayla is just because I felt like she was the easiest vote for our Final Four. I looked at it.
Not vote for Final Four.
I'll explain that to you, Renzo, in a second. We'll get to that. But I thought she was the easiest vote, so I'm like, okay, I guess I'll write it out. My mistake. Sorry for not going to a will with you, Jess. You played an amazing game. I should have stuck my.
I know.
Many things happened here. Kayla was that I wanted Kayla, and Kayla needs me in the Final Four. We have to have each other's back because we're like the biggest names right now at that point. So, and then you were saying that you're not gonna drag me at Final Four at this 5. I was like shouting, no, Kayla will drag me. Kayla will drag me.
I had to convince you I wouldn't. I really wouldn't.
But we have to make that perception so that Christian and Chris will vote with us. If
I thought that was a lie. I thought that was a full blown lie.
At that point in time,
You guys did not do a good job with that.
When I heard Kayla say, Renzo, I'm not dragging you, I said, oh, okay, so this has got to go.
I'm still here.
I was so afraid of that will. In hindsight, I should have freaking went to will. I was so afraid of it.
Mm-hmm. I mean, if all 3 of us had voted Kayla in the tie, she would have gone anyways, and then we would have been Final Four, and then it would have been a free fall.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. It wouldn't have been a wheel.
It wouldn't have been a wheel because who knows what would have happened at Final Four with us.
True.
So.
I remember rolling my eyes when Audrey said, Jess, you've been eliminated. And I'm like, ugh. I said, I hate Kristen.
But I screwed up by originally voting for Renzo. If I had voted Kayla, I think she would have gone.
Yeah,
she would have gone. So
she would have gone.
I screwed myself out of Final Four. So
Chris, I could feel the sass coming through my screen. I'm like, oh, he's so mad, but I'm loving this.
I had you, Kate, at that point. I really needed you in the Final Four so that I can reach the Final 2. I was just so confused as to why Jess was targeting me, and it's like, why? How did you?
I mean, it's a smart move because I wanted that to happen. It's just I did.
I really just thought that Renzo, you were a bigger target at that point, and I was afraid that if we all went to Final Four, you would have gone to Final 2 and won very easily.
Kayla, it was a mix of sass, it was a mix of wine, all love, game, respect, game. It was like
Also, I was tipsy at that point. What was I thinking?
I was loving every second of it.
I bet you were.
But yeah, I feel like I had Kayla's back here. Like I would never let her go at this point. And I'm just amazed by how the 3 of you, like Christian and Jess, voted. If you are all on the same page at just one round, it would have been a different case.
Yeah.
I mean, I just thought it was obvious. Chris and Christian had voted for Kayla the first time, so why wouldn't they vote that the same way the second time?
You would have thought.
I know, I did.
How did I sway you, Christian?
The loyalty thing, like honestly, like that like you brought that up again, and you constantly brought that up, and I'm just listening to him like, you know what? I'll fight it out in Final Four. I don't care. I'll fight it out. I'll take the chance here.
That's what. So that going into that, I mean, going into a little bit about your game, that's what confused me so much. It was that I felt like prior to this, you kind of like said how much of a villain you were in like previous games, and like that's how you play. I'm the villain. And then in this case, coming into this game, it seemed like you were very loyal and like you were trying to not stab anyone in the back and trying to go along with the bonds that you had made, which was like the complete opposite.
I mean, here's the thing. I feel like in this game, especially Sequester, you gotta play a different way. You gotta be adaptable. And I felt like I hyped that up for a reason because I'm like, no one expects a newbie player to play aggressive game. Every single time that newbie comes into a game, they play passive. They play like want to fly on the radar. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna do the opposite. Let me play aggressive game. And going into this one, keep in mind, I didn't expect to play or none of that. But I'm like, I know more than half of the people in this cast. If I come and play an aggressive game, they're gonna take me out early. And in the PLC mini, I got tracked. I made it pre-jury. I wanted to see how can I get myself to the end game. I played a game to get to the end game. I didn't play a game to win, and that's my fault for not learning from that. But for me, I feel like again, I have no regrets just because it's like you can't play the same way twice. I feel like everyone wanted to say you can play aggressive game, you want to play fill-in game, and in hindsight, like there were moves on the table where I'm like, there could have been the fill-in there, could have played in the game. My thing is like, I got to final 3 by playing a very passive game. I got the final 10 by playing an aggressive game. I have to find that balance because if I do, I'll win. And also for me, it's like if I ever get to a final 2, it's like I'm a communication study major and I do a podcast. I can convince whoever in a final 4. That's why I'm like going into this thing like, I'll be honest, give me Chris in a final 2. I'll convince them why I deserve to win. Because I felt like I wasn't beating Renzo. That's why I felt like I wasn't beating Renzo. I wasn't beating Kayla. Give me that final 2 with Chris. I'll convince why I deserve that win.
Makes sense. Yeah, because that's what, overall, I was like, you played a good game. Like, I'm not going to take that away from you. You played a really solid game. It just wasn't the game that I expected you to play. And it also wasn't, as you admitted, probably a winning game in most situations. I felt it was a game to get to top 2 and then probably, in most situations, probably lose. But
yeah, I feel like in hindsight, like the final 14 probably would have been when I turned it on. That was before jury, but it's like I should have eventually turned on someone, but Ashley had my back. It's like the only person I was going to turn on there was Ashley. So it's like after I made it a jury, I should have turned it up. I should have played an aggressive game after that. But again, it's hard finding the balance. And in this game, again, clearly I have the connections here, like Renzo with Chris, with Jess, everything like that. So it's like in POC, I really didn't care about feelings or anything like that. This game, feelings cloud my judgment. Like that's my error. But like I don't mind the game I played.
No, it helps now too because you've played Endgame, so you know what to expect, which I feel like is a big benefit in any situation. Back to Jess, just to close it out. Jess, what were your thoughts overall? I think you were definitely a bit of an underdog there for a while, and you fought your way up to get to top 5. So how was it like playing your first game?
Oh man, I was so stressed days before I started. Days before? As soon as I submitted my audition video, like I did that video 50 times. I did 50 takes of it because I just wanted to get it as good as I could. And it was just anxiety all the way up to the game. But as soon as I got into the game, honestly, I had a lot of fun. This is very out of my comfort zone. I'm not really used to doing this kind of stuff. And I thought I was going to be terrible. My thought was, if I can get past round 1, I'm happy. If I can get past round 2, I'm happy. And somehow I made jury, and I was just, I can do this. I don't know how I'm doing this. I didn't feel like I had a lot of strong allies, so that was really worrisome for me. So I just felt, okay, the only person I fully trust is Ashley. I kind of trust Chris. I trust Christian a little bit. I felt like I trusted Renzo, but I hadn't talked to him for a lot of rounds, so I had no idea where his head was at. And I really just tried give my all and basically hope that I could do as good as I could.
Well, you did that. It definitely worked. Do you think you'll play again?
Maybe not right now. This took a lot out of me. I'm open to the idea, but right now I probably won't. I'm actually co-creating the Harry Potter mini with Mel Hurst.
Oh.
So, yeah. So I'll probably just do that. I won't participate in that one. I just want to. I want to see what happens with my creation. Just watch from the sidelines. But at the moment, that's pretty much the extent of what I'm going to be doing, and I want to get more into the community. So
I'm excited for that. I saw Mel tweet that out, and I got excited. Team Hufflepuff, go any Hufflepuffs! Thank you for coming on, Jess. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much, guys.
Bye. All right, and here we are, the final 4. Congratulations. So
is here.
So let's discuss it.
By words of my ultimate friend and mentor in the community, Christian.
My old buddy. I mean, you want my reason? I could give you my reason in here, honestly.
Go for it.
So I'll be honest, I wanted to vote for Kayla out here. It's the final 4. It's the easiest choice. She played the best game, everything like that. But she praised loyalty, and at that point I looked at him like, the only way I'm getting to a final 2 and winning it is with Chris. And I'm like, Renzo, me and you, PLC, you were gonna vote me out after jury. I voted for you out to get out in PLC Mini. I voted for you in this game multiple times. Well, twice now, including the final four. So I looked at it. I'm like, I could vote for Kayla, but I'm like, Chris isn't gonna vote for Kayla because he's gonna vote for herself because I know Chris well. I know he watched that Kami game. There's no way he's voting for Kayla. So I screwed him regardless. It's like, who do I want to win? Do I want Kayla to win? Do I want Renzo to win? Because clearly Chris is about to screw me over here. So let me go after the guy who I already voted for. I never voted for in the final four. It's like I thought you and Kayla played a good game. If I got out there, I was gonna track Chris because I thought of the two of you guys, he played the worst game. Let me track him out. Let me have the two best winners. But if that's not happening, let me at least throw myself a fighting chance here. And I felt like, you know what? I already voted for you. You already voted for me. Game respect the game. Just battle it out. But sorry about that.
No, yeah. I think that's one of my biggest regrets. If I had to redo this again, I would have strategized more in this final four, and I would have worked with Kayla and just us, me and Kayla battled at that final two. Because I was in a final two before, so I had the experience of being in a jury, and I don't think Kayla has that. So that I think was my biggest mistake. And by that time, though, I was just so tired as well of thinking, and I was so close to winning. Like at final 8, I can really feel like I can have this. But yeah, I did not think of the final four because from final 8 to final 4, I was highlighting Kayla's game so much so that she would be perceived as a target, that people will just immediately target her at final 4. And I don't think Kayla would drag me.
I mean, I thought Kayla played like a great, like you, Kayla, and like you both played like made the game, Chris. I'm not trying to credit your game at all. You played fantastic too. I'm just saying, like looking at that game, like you made it to a final 2 before. That's another reason why I voted for you. I'm like, you have the experience that which I don't have. And if you got there, I thought you had a good chance of battling out with Kayla. I don't know who I'm voting for there. So I looked at it. I'm like, I can't have him in the final 2 because like with Kayla, did she play a perfect best game? Yeah. But at the same time, it's like she's a newbie, and I could maybe like try to sway one way or another. I don't think Renzo's gonna drop this at the final 2 again. Like he has that experience, he has that lower door, and I'm like, me and you were close. I'm like, maybe he understands the game and track someone else there, because I thought, respectfully, you Chris, I thought you didn't need to do that move. Like you lost my jury vote by doing that move for the self vote. Because like this was a Kami game. If you voted for me, you voted for me in PLC, and I would have gave you a win in PLC if I got the jury. So you didn't have to do a self vote there. Like that made no sense to me voting for yourself. You like, especially in the end game, it's like you cost yourself maybe potentially the win by doing that. It made no sense to me.
Quite personally, for me, my main focus was to, in this round in particular, was to just let y'all crazies go at it, listen, and make a vote based off that way, which is why I voted for myself. I wanted to make it to the end game. Did I want to win? Of course I want to win. I was focused on making it to the final 2 at this point in time. And again, the drunkenness of me was coming out full force, but I was mainly focused on hoping and praying that I could make it to final 2 here and there. So that's why I voted for myself.
But here's the thing. It's not about making it to again, you made it to final 2. I have a lot of respect for you. I can't say I've done that.
No, I understand. I get it.
From my point of view, it's not making it to final 2, it's winning the game. Like I don't like again, everyone come here and like outside the game, everything like that. You play the game to win, and that wasn't a winning move.
And it's not saying that I wasn't playing to win. I was playing to win. I was just what'd you say?
I said you were. It's just that move wasn't a winning move.
Yeah, so I think in this sort of scenario between I was in final 4 with you, Renzo, and Kayla. The win was more unreachable for me than anyone else. No one really got a chance to see my more behind the scenes. Hell, I don't think my name came out in the top 6. But so it was very hard for other people to understand my personal gameplay. I was behind the scenes. I was full frontal. No one was really coming for me, but still, I was just more focused on hoping and praying that I can make it to the end game. I understand the win was very harder for me than it was for you guys, and I'm at peace.
No, I wouldn't discredit Chris's game though. Like at that,
I'm not.
at that point in time, I really thought that you played a very great game. I never really considered voting you out. And I think you're the first player who was like in the final four that I never really considered playing. Because I don't know what I'm saying, but you really played a strong game. I just want to make sure at that point that you know that you're playing a strong game. I initially chose you as my drag, but I knew that I wouldn't drag you. Based from what I've seen just in the game, and maybe I have to watch replay again. I really thought that Chris played a stronger game than Christian.
I disagree.
So that's what I was curious about. Let's get into the drag a little bit, because that I was. So you said, I mean, your first choice really didn't matter. You were just saying a name because you wanted both of them to speak. But what was it that swayed your decision most? I felt like there were no real arguments between Christian and Chris. It was just a lot of yelling. Like there was just a lot of like, please don't drag me. No, don't do it. Don't do it. So it wasn't like anything that could really like make you decide upon it. So what was the thing that was the final decision for you?
I just wanted to like give them both a chance to defend the game that they played, to deserve their spot in the final two. And at that point, if one of them would have been very specific about the things that will make them to final two, if Christian said the right things, I might have said Christian to go to final two, and I might have dragged Chris. But at that point, based on what I saw and based on what I heard, Chris played the better game.
With all due respect, Renzo put some damn respect on my name. I played a hell of a game.
Yes, he did. Yes, he did.
I played a better game than Chris just because he played under the radar game. I literally had every single ally lines doing my dirty work for me. I played a passive game because I had to after playing an aggressive ass game.
That's not. I don't mean to cut you off, but it's not to say you played a better game than me.
Yeah, I'm not saying I hate your game. I am saying.
I'm saying, Renzo, you said that Chris played a better game than me. That's all I'm saying. It's, in my opinion, I played a better game than Chris. I don't mind the drag at all because I wasn't being Kayla in the final two, and I'd rather be dragged than like lose in the final two. That's just
I was gonna say, regardless, the point is moot because Kayla was beating both of you.
I'm like, I don't mind this drag because no one gets to see what I did in the final two. However, I played the better game than Chris. Like all due respect to you, Renzo, and Chris. You know, outside the game, I love you. Inside the game, I love you. I never voted for you reason. This is nothing but love. I'm just saying, game-wise, I thought I played a better game than you, man.
And
I haven't seen
them entitled to their opinions. I understand it. I'm not. There's no ill will here at all. Nothing. I told everybody that.
And Christian, maybe you were right, but on the perspective I have, because I wasn't able to see all the rooms, and I think I spent more time with Chris than you.
I know, and I understand. And like again, I probably did that on purpose just for myself. It's like me and you were close, and in hindsight, I probably should have did that. Again, I have no ill will for the track. You kind of did me a favor, so I don't have any ill will to you because it's just a game. There's nothing but love, anything like that. I just have to play my own game here because everyone's like, you played a passive, you played more game. I'm like, I played the game I wanted to play, and I made it to final three. I have no regrets here.
You play for yourself too, and nobody else. So as long as you're proud of yourself, that's all that matters.
Yeah. And you voted me out. Chris did not vote me out.
Renzo, I tried to preach loyalty to you. I don't know if you could hear it during this because all it was a screaming match between Christian and I. But I did try to preach loyalty to you. So if you did hear that, then I'm very happy.
Renzo, you were loyal to me. I was never loyal to you in both games we played. Like I voted you up in the first, I voted you in the second game. So once you tried him, like I wasn't loyal to him to begin with. I worked with him. He was loyal to me, but I'm like, I can't complain about him dragging me when I was never loyal to him in a game. I was loyal to Caleb, loyal to Chris, was loyal to other people. I wasn't really loyal to you throughout that whole game. And you, for the record, you played a fantastic game. Everyone here, we all made it to a Final Four. And how many of us can say that we made it to a Final Four? 3 women, a person, people of color, diversity all around. We had a great winner. I have nothing but love. All I'm saying is like, I just like how you guys 3 played a good game. I played one hell of a freaking game. Just saying.
So what I want to focus on now, I want to go to Kayla because I feel like, we've been here for 3 hours now, a little over 3 hours, and I still feel like we haven't heard a ton from you. So I want to give you the opportunity to talk about your game because we're going to be going into Winners at War here, probably next month. And I feel like, I feel like you're a bit of an unknown. We know how good you are with LOSs. You clearly have the best internet on the planet. And I feel like you know how to use them. But speak on your game a little bit. Tell us a little bit about what your strategy was, how you enacted it, and how it ended up in your favor.
I would say that being unknown is like a theme in my life. In the game, I just like because I am really kind of more quiet and don't really do a lot of social things, but in the game, for some reason, it just made me feel super comfortable because I was having so much fun and really connecting with people. So I feel like my true like self was coming out in that game. But then like right here when we're all talking, like I more just like observe. So that's why I've been talking a lot. But in the game, relationships were really what kept me here till the end. Because if I didn't form bonds or wasn't able to sway people to really believe in me and trust me, then I wasn't going to get here. So I'm just a firm believer that the bonds that you make are what can carry you through the game. Because no matter what kind of game you played, if people don't really trust in you and believe in you, then they're not going to get you where you need to be. And yes,
And
I'm very fast.
Yes, so fast.
Ugh.
Gabe says in the
Extremely.
chat, we're being put into the same spot of the Mike Holloway spot, because the way I got in was playing 2 LOSs and you got in playing 3 LOSs. So
That's so
we're
funny.
we're on the same board there. For you and Chris, how were you feeling going into the final 2? Chris, did you think you had a shot at possibly winning, or did you know that Kayla had it in the bag?
I mean, I knew it was a huge uphill battle when it was between myself and Kayla. Did I think I was going to win at all? No, and I was actually kind of shocked the vote wasn't unanimous. I was at this point I was more speaking out of my ass than anything. If you watch back the clips that I was watching earlier today, I was like, why the fuck did I say this? I cannot believe I drank 2 bottles of wine and played the damn game. But before we do end this, I would like to take into account that when you care about something and you want to prove yourself well, you get passionate about stuff like this. And what I said last night may have been taken out of extreme context. I have nothing but love and respect for Kayla. I've seen a couple of tweets about me saying how I talk down upon women, especially in the final 2 scenario, where I made a comment. It was like I didn't need 3 LLSs to get here, and I didn't, but I could, in some senses, you can see how that was derogatory, especially to Kayla being a woman of a great gameplay, and just being like me being a man talking down upon women. I am not that type of person. I am never that type of person. I've been nothing but a gentleman, and I tried to be a gentleman last night in the game. I was extremely passionate, and if my words came across as wrong, or anybody wants to come and talk to me about it, I stand by exactly what I said. It's passion. It's nothing but gameplay, and it's nothing but love. And Kayla, if I offended you at all, I don't think I did. But
No,
if
I never felt anything negative towards you. So if anyone is saying that, then I mean, I'm in charge of myself and how I feel. And if I felt some type of way, then I would talk to you about it. So you don't need to worry about it.
Yeah.
Because you have to defend your game. Like that's what you're there for. If you don't defend your game, it's like, what are you doing? So whatever you had to say, you had to say. But of course, I'm defending my game too. So yeah, no hard feelings. It's what you have
Chris,
to do.
what other angle would you have taken there, right? Like I feel like I don't understand why anybody would come for you on that, because that was the angle you had to take to say, yes, Kayla played this great game, but she needed to LOS. I played a social game and never needed it. I feel like that's a common argument on Sequester.
It was brought to my, there was a tweet made by, I'm not gonna say who, because they apologized for it. So if you'll find the tweets about it, you'll see who said it. But there's that I talked down to Kayla, and I just wanted to clarify that was not my intention of coming out. I just wanted to be very passionate about the game I played, hopefully, and praying that I could possibly win. I knew it was a long shot, but I was just extremely passionate, and I wanted to apologize if I did offend her at all. So.
I never felt that, really. I promise.
It was, and I guess I can also I'll talk about it after turning on my phone and seeing all the tweets that were made. Like I didn't expect to be, like not so much hated. Obviously you come to play and you want to be loved by all the amount of people in the world. You can't have love from everybody. So, and people are judging you based off of your game. They're not judging you as a person. They're judging you as your gameplay. And I guess from what people said about my gameplay, I didn't really feel broken, but my feelings, I'm not going to lie and say that my feelings weren't hurt, because they were. So because I guess the type of person in me, I want to please everybody, and
I
so
mean,
but I have, but looking back, I didn't mean to. No, looking back, I made final two. Half of y'all bitches didn't, and hey.
Exactly.
So,
I'll say, Chris, like, there's a reason why I was thinking about retiring, like, on Wednesday, because, like, again, like, on Twitter, Facebook, everything like that, you get a bunch of toxic messages, and it's like, if for like the 100 of people who may praise you and love you, you get those toxic messages, and it gets to you hard. Like, again, like, I don't think people realize, like, it's just a game, but like outside of it, like everyone take it to heart. I remember at the PLC Mini, I played a better game there, but yet I still took me a week to get over it because I'm like, I thought I played a good game, but I'm sitting here like really sad, and I feel like it. I don't think people really realize how much it takes out of the game, because especially if all 4 of us made it to end game. So it's like you're going there playing for 4 or 5 hours. You put your heart and soul in, and then you look at Twitter, and even beforehand, it's like I've received a lot of hate from like the community where I'm like, okay, do I leave the community? Because again, I wasn't gonna play because I'm tired of dealing the hate and the drama and the toxicity, everything like that. At the same time, it's like I'm kind of glad because I got to play with 3 of the best people I could possibly play, and like 21 amazing people. And it's kind of thing where it's like, if you're not getting hate, then you're not doing it right. Like everyone is gonna be a critic, everyone's gonna receive hate, everything like that. But like Chris, yeah, you needed to play that more. Like I wish there was more. Like I wish you played that harder. Like in my opinion, is like I wish you would have like gone further, honestly, because for that final 2, I felt like Kayla did enough to win, and Kayla did a good job. But my vote wasn't like you could have convinced us otherwise, because that was like an open table. But seriously, man, you should be proud about yourself. None of us. Well, Renzo can because he did before, but none of us in the game can say that we made it to a final 2. Out of the 500 people who played before, very few people can say they made it to a final 2 and they played a hell of a game. Like your game, respect to you, you played a hell of a game, and you shouldn't be upset or sad or anything like that. Because outside of the community, like I have nothing but love for you, and inside the game, you played one hell of a freaking game. You gotta be proud of yourself, man.
I'm extremely proud. I'm very proud of the game I played. It got me to top 2, but
I don't think anyone in the game makes it personal either. I feel like usually it's just someone on the outside and they turn it into something that it's not, so you really can't let it get to you.
And again, people are entitled to their opinions. They're judging you not off of your character, but off of how you played the game. So I have to respect their opinions. Do I have to agree with them? No, but I do respect each and everybody's opinion. It was just from personal experiences. When you're unlocking your phone, you're turning your phone on for the first time, you're seeing what people have to say about you, and it's not good things. It hurts. But
no, of course. And the hope is just that, I mean, in the Sequester community, for the most part, it's usually positive. And some people are always going to drag it down. But the benefit is, the hope is that you receive far more love than you do hate. So, and I think for the most part, that happens. And I think you guys were all incredible last night. I was thoroughly enjoying myself watching. Let's go around. Krista, I want to talk to you about what's coming up tomorrow, but let's go in order here and start with Renzo. Renzo, what were your thoughts on the game?
Yeah, after the Friday mini game, I had a lot of like apprehensions playing on the Saturday game because of how amazing the Friday game was, and I was just so scared what people will think about. And I just reminded myself that I'm still playing the game. I just want to play the game I want to play, and just don't care too much about what other people think. And I think that's the best way to decompress about the game. As long as you're proud of the game that you played, and you are and you stand by all. And you learn from like probably the mistakes because I've made a lot of mistakes in this game as well. I just be happy. And I'm also gonna say like to everybody watching, everybody doing comments on Twitter and stuff, sharing some positivity and kindness is always better as well. So let's be nice a little sometimes. Yes, we're all entitled to our opinion, but we're all human beings here, and we're all passionate about the game that we're playing. And to the cast, I love all of you. I really think that I hope that I made a lot of friends here. Shout out to like also the POC, 3 out of all three of us, it's our first Patreon, and then we all made it to the final part. That is just amazing and mind blowing. My first Himalayas, I love you all, and everybody in this cast was just amazing. I'm sure more winners will come out from this cast. So yeah, thank you all.
Thanks, Renzo.
Thank you, Louie. Thank you, Louie.
Of course, always. Thank you for coming on. We love you. Christian, I know you will be playing again tomorrow, correct?
Yeah, playing Tri-State. It's a stacked cast. Like, it's really, there's nowhere to hide. There's nowhere to run. It's gonna be fun. Again, the people, we have all-stars playing. We have a winner playing. It's gonna be a fun time. Clearly, again, we'll see what kind of gameplay I play.
I was gonna say, you get to transform yourself again. We get version 3.0.
Yeah, and I mean, also I'm playing the week after I'm playing Pride, so it's kind of thing where it's like, yeah. So it's kind of thing where it's like I get to like test out back to back, see what can improve, and it's good. It's good to. I mean, I wish I had more of a break, but
it is. It's a lot to play that often, but I mean, you'll definitely get a lot of chances and a lot of different ways to tweak your game and see how it goes.
Yeah, I mean, it's fun. Again, from like Kevin, if he's in the chat, like me and him came up with the idea for like a month ago, and we've all been in like a group chat together. So we don't break in for obvious reasons, but all interacting. It's kind of fun. Like even after this game, like the interaction, the cube, the community, and as Renzo said, like positivity. Like with my YouTube and the platform of that is like, I still want to continue championing minority voices, and with the people in Tri-State, with Pride, with a lot of things, and this kind of thing where it's like, I want to give my voice to other people in the other minority groups a chance to showcase what they are as people and to showcase the beauties inside themselves. So at least for me, it's like playing a game is a game, and I can't wait to play tomorrow. It's just like outside the game, it's like, can we all, even in the comment section, like being brutal, it's like, can we all just give each other some love and support? Like, can we all just come together as a group and say, like, I'm glad I was part of this class. I didn't pay retire. Kayla, you are an amazing winner. Like, you played one hell of a game, girl. Like,
Thank you.
And it's like, I'm glad that I didn't retire when I was supposed to, because otherwise I wouldn't have been in this amazing cast with so many people who I love and really admire a lot in this community.
Absolutely. We appreciate it, Christian. We appreciate all you do for the community here. Chris?
Yes.
Tell
us. For me personally, coming in and playing this after people of color, I just wanted to prove to myself that I could do better, and I could shut up, stop talking, and listen more. And I think I did exactly that. For all my haters out there, this is unfortunately not the last time you're going to be seeing of me. I'm going to be a part of the Disney Mini that's at the end of July.
I'm so jealous I'm not in a Disney Mini, but I've never worked for Disney, nor have anything. I've just really always wanted to go to Disney, but that doesn't get me in.
See, I haven't worked for Disney at all. I'm just a huge fan, and so I'm very fortunate to be a part of the cast. For like public and patron minis, this isn't the last, but it's gonna be a big break. If you catch me at All-Star Mini, hey, I'm not taking no for an answer, but I am playing the Disney Mini at the end of July. Afterwards, I guess we'll see.
Absolutely, sounds good. And then finally, our winner, Kayla. We'll leave you with the final thoughts.
This is just some of the most fun that I have ever had. I talk a lot about it on my Twitter, but yeah, I haven't had this much fun in a really long time. When my boyfriend found out that I won, he like bursted in the room and like threw confetti and was showing me all the YouTube comments that he was screenshotting all night. And I just stayed up so late, just laughing and just feeling so much love and support, which is why I wanted to play the game, because I could see that from watching the mini on Friday. And it was just an amazing experience, and I'm really excited to just meet more people and have fun with it.
I think you're in for it now as a winner. You're basically representing your mini, and I'm sure your DMs will be going crazy soon with Winners at War on the.
You're gonna do great.
I'm not used to it, but it's fun.
I'm so excited for you, Kayla.
Thank you. You guys are awesome.
It's coming. So that will be it for us here today. We're going to be streaming again in 20 minutes. We're going to be doing, Sariel is going to be hosting the Weakest Link, which I'm so excited, and I will be taking part in. So I'm going to get to show off my trivia skills. We'll see how I do. There's voting involved, so I'm concerned. I feel like it's sequester people. We're not just going to vote out the person who gets the least right. I feel like there's still going to be targets.
Is
So
there actual money involved or?
there is. There's
Ooh.
like it can go up to like $50, I think. So we'll see. I've already said if I win, I'm donating it to something. I don't know what yet. But
There are some international mini people playing, so I'm excited to watch them.
All right, I'm excited. We'll see how I do. Keep your fingers crossed, y'all. And then we'll be back tomorrow. It's an hour earlier, right, Christian? It's 7 p.m. tomorrow.
Yeah, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Cool. I like that. So 7 p.m. tomorrow, we'll have our live streaming coverage of the Tri-State Mini, rooting for Robin. Robin was in the chat. I said officially on Twitter, the person closest to where I grew up would be who I was officially rooting for. I'm from Flushing. She lives in Queens as well. So we will be rooting for her. Yeah, and it'll be a lot of fun. But that's all we got. Thank you all for joining us here today. And we will see you soon.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.